What if Deku was left behind by everyone and awakened a power born from pure darkness?
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was Neglected by Family and Became the Reincarnation of Evil Sonic Movie. Before we start, please go support Jeff3302J for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. Izuku is mistreated by his family to the point of killing him, or so they thought. Hap 1. In a cell, someone was chained up and unable to move until the door opened, revealing a subject. Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Detective Tsukauchi Namasa. Sitting down, do you know why you're here? But received no response, good. You're here for disturbing the peace and causing the deaths of several pro-heroes. Do you have anything to say in your defense? But received nothing, okay, then, but was interrupted by a call. Namasa. Hello, yes, I understand, are you sure as you wish? Hanging up, well, someone else will come to see you. With that, he left. A few hours later, a bear, mouse, and dog entered. Good morning, young man. Looking at the files, Izuku, let me introduce myself. I am the principal of the prestigious UA Academy. My name is Nezu. But received no response, excuse me, young Mido. But couldn't finish upon seeing the boy's red eyes. Izuku. Finish saying that damn word and maybe I'll stop today. I have a hybrid of an animal, which made the rodent swallow hard. Nezu. PP sorry, why don't you tell me how I ended up here? Izuku. You want to know how I ended up here? Receiving a nod. Izuku. Okay, where do I begin? Oh yeah, it all started when I was 4 years old. 11 years ago. You can see a girl playing with her brother. Izumi. And Aichan, are you excited? Izuku. That's right. Finally, we'll see what quirk we have to become great heroes like Almight. Inko. Kids, are you ready? Izuku Izumi. Yes. So Inko took the children to the doctor where they did the tests and now they were waiting for the results. Doctor. Midoriya family. Inko. Yes. Doctor. Please come. In. So the three of them went in where they had blood drawn and other tests done. Doctor. You can leave. We'll call you back in a moment when I get the results. So the three of them left. Izumi. Mom, what quirk do you think I have? Inko. I don't know. So they waited for several minutes until a nurse called them back to call. Doctor. I have good news and bad news. In a serious tone. Inko. What's the good news? Doctor. Your daughter has a quirk called pyrokinesis. Making the little girl happy. Inko. And what's the bad news, Doc? Worried. Doctor. I'm sorry, but your son doesn't have a quirk. Explaining it like in the original story. Nezu. Wait, so you didn't have a quirk? Izuku. That's right. Nezu. But how come you have one now? A little worried about the answer. Izuku. My quirk is something special that couldn't be seen in the exams. Nezu. I understand. Please continue. Izuku. Okay, where was I? Thinking, oh, I remember now. Continuing with the story. Inko. I see. Well, thank you very much. Leaving. The walk home was silent. Upon arriving, their mother fed them, but she was no longer happy, a fact noticed by Izuku. As night fell, Hisashi arrived home and was greeted by his children. Hisashi. I'm home. Izuku Izumi. Dad. Hugging him. Hisashi. Hello. Returning the hug, now then, tell me, what's your quirk? Happily. Izumi. I have pyrokinesis. Hisashi. That's my princess. And Izuku, what's yours? Izuku was about to speak, but his mother interrupted him. Inko. He's quirkless. In a cold tone. Hisashi. What? What do you mean he's quirkless? A little agitated. Inko. That's right. Explaining what the doctor told her. Hisashi. TSK, this is all your fault. Slapping her and leaving. Izuku. Approaching his mother, Mom, I can be a hero. Inko. Slapping him, no, and no. Don't call me that again because you're not my son anymore, angry. From that day on, my life changed. I was abused by my parents and sister, and at school, my best friend used me as a practice dummy. Nezu. Wow, kid, I'm sorry, feeling sorry, but he froze when he heard the freckled boy start laughing. Izuku. You're joking, right? Nezu. Huh. Confused. Izuku. I'm grateful to those bastards. Thanks to them, I awakened my quirk, hahaha, laughing like crazy, scaring the principal. Well, I'd better continue. One day, when I got home, I was beaten. The only thing I remember is waking up chained up. The days passed. Sometimes I had nothing to eat. It was lucky that a pipe was broken. With that, I could drink water, even if it was just a little. They also stuck a hot iron in my leg. They didn't care about my screams or the pleas I made. One day, my father came home drunk. He approached me with a knife and made several cuts, which he cauterized with his quirk. In one, he stuck the knife in my stomach, he told me. Bisashi. Trash like you should never have existed. I thought I was going to die. Everything was blurry. I only heard footsteps and saw my mother and my sister. Izuku. You know, principal, despite everything, I still had faith that they would help me. He let out a nostalgic laugh. But it wasn't like that. They just stood there watching me bleed out little by little. I gave up, so I died, or so I thought. Nezu. What do you mean? Hesitantly. Izuku. I was on a tightrope between life and death. Something inside me told me not to give up, and I didn't. I wanted to open my eyes, but I couldn't. I could only hear. I felt them put me in a garbage bag and put me in the trunk of the car. Nezu. How do you know? Izuku. It was simple. I couldn't hear anything, just things moving. I figured they were tools. We stopped and I felt them pull me out and throw me away like trash. Then I heard the sound of something being dug. Several minutes passed where I could only hear the sound of the earth being moved and the raindrops falling. I didn't hear them digging anymore. I was lifted up and thrown into the hole. From there, I simply felt like I was being buried alive until finally I couldn't hear anything anymore. Nezu. And how did you get out? Izuku. Easy. When I started to run out of air, I felt like this time I was really going to die, but I didn't. I heard a voice telling me to get up. I thought I was hallucinating because of the lack of air and that the voices I was hearing were in my head, but I decided to listen to it and right at that precise moment, something woke up inside me. Hahaha, laughing, making the only light in the room start to flicker. Pap 2. Nezu. Young Izuku, what is your quirk? In the tests you've been told to take, nothing has been shown. Interested. Izuku. Well, it's because I'm a god. In a demonic voice. Nezu. Confused, but decided not to dwell on it. Tell me, young Izuku, what happened to your family? Izuku. My family. Flashback. We see a small green-haired boy getting up. Izuku. How am I alive? You're welcome. A demonic voice spoke. Izuku. Who's there? Then everything went dark and he only saw red eyes approaching, revealing someone chained head and foot. I see you finally come. In a mocking tone. Izuku. Who are you? Fearfully. Let's just say I'm your quirk. Izuku. But I don't have a quirk. He said sadly. It's because you don't have one. Making the green-haired boy sad, you are my reincarnation. Izuku. Reincarnation, confused. Exactly, that's why they couldn't see your quirk. Izuku. So I can be a hero. But he hears the being start to laugh. What's so funny? Brat, you can be more than a hero. Confusing Izuku. Izuku. What do you mean? You can be a god. Izuku. A god. Surprised. Exactly, just imagine, you can do anything and eliminate anyone who stands in your way. Izuku. And I don't want that. You don't want revenge on the family that hurt you? Showing him the memories, just look at yourself being beaten by the people you love most, making the green-haired boy lower his head, or when you asked the heroes for help and they ignored you, showing him how Izuku asked a hero for help, but he simply ignored him, since he had no fame or cameraman, just a simple child. Come on, we can change the world, showing his smile that revealed his sharp teeth, which frightened the little boy. Tell me, boy, do you want to be a god? You can create and destroy, protect or kill. It will all depend on you. Izuku didn't know what to do. It was a great burden for a child. But then the image of his parents and sister mistreating him came to mind, the insults he received. Little by little, his heart filled with darkness, making the chain being smile widen. Tell me, boy, what is it you want? Izuku. I want a better world. I want to protect the weak and see those who deserve it punished, surprising the being. Very well, then free me. I will help you achieve your goal. Together we will make this a better world. So Izuku proceeded to remove the chains. As he did so, the man stood up. He had dark blue hair that reached his back, his eyes were as black as night, with blood-red centers that you could see in the dark, and his teeth were razor-sharp, capable of skinning you alive. He also had ears. The man stretched a little and looked at the boy. Well, brat, let me introduce myself. I have many names, but you can call me Sonic.exe or simply Sonic. He smiled at him. Izuku. So, what now, Sonic? He backed away, taken aback by how imposing he was. Sonic.exe. Now, just let me take control of your body. I'll do the rest. He extended his hand. Izuku didn't know whether to give him his hand, but his goal of having a better life was on his mind, so he didn't think twice and shook it. In the real world, Izuku's appearance had changed. His eyes became like Sonic's, his teeth began to grow and resembled the hedgehog's, and his hair grew to his back, transforming him. The color was a dark blue with green tips. Sonic.exe. Breathing, it feels so good to be alive. Starting to laugh, he headed towards the city. Since it was very late, the streets were almost empty. When he passed under a streetlight, it began to flicker. He continued walking until he entered an abandoned building. There he saw several people gathered. They noticed the little boy and surrounded him. Subject 1. Hey, what's a kid doing here? Subject 2. And what does it matter? How much do you think they'll give us for him? So everyone started talking about what to do about Izuku, but he simply grabbed a hamburger that was on a table and continued on his way until he was stopped. Subject 1. Hey, where do you think you're going? Stopping him, you think you can come here, take my hamburger, and leave like nothing happened. But he only saw the freckled boy's macabre smile, which made him back away. Then, when he least expected it, his head exploded. Everyone was in shock until one of them shouted. Subject 2. Shit, I better get out of here. He tried to escape, but his head exploded too. His body kept running, but he fell a few meters from the exit. Everyone started screaming, but little by little the screams were silenced, leaving a large pool of blood and dead bodies. Izuku simply started laughing and disappeared into the shadows while taking another bite of his hamburger. Back in reality. Nezu. Hey, young Izuku, are you alright? He had been calling him for hours, but he didn't answer. Izuku. Huh. Back in reality. Nezu. Nothing, it's just that you haven't said anything for 2 hours. Izuku. Really? Sorry, I think I got lost in my memories. Nezu. It doesn't matter, we can continue. Izuku. Sure. What was I saying? Nezu. About what happened to your family. Izuku. A memory flashes through his mind of his house in flames while his parents and sister screamed in pain and cried for help. I don't know. I haven't heard anything since then. Lying. Nezu. So you don't know what happened to them? Izuku. That's right. Besides, I don't care if they're alive or dead. Trying to hold back laughter. Nezu. You want to know what happened to them? Izuku. Huh. And why did you want to know that? Nezu. Well, your parents died in a fire that was deliberately set. The cause was never determined and your sister survived. Leaving the freckled boy surprised. Izuku. She's alive. Hiding his anger. Nezu. That's right. The symbol of peace, Almight, managed to rescue her. Izuku. I see. Letting his hair cover his eyes, but his red eyes could still be seen glowing, startling the rodent. App 3. 5 days had passed since Nezu last spoke to Izuku. Now, in the cell, Izuku can be seen in his mindscape. Sonic.exe. Haha, well, kid, you've really been screwed. Smiling. Izuku. TSK, damn symbol of peace, him and his disgusting smile. Angry. Sonic.exe. Hey kid, you have to be strong if you want to fulfill your dream. Izuku. You're right. You know, I still remember when you trained me. Flashback. We see Izuku on top of a building. Izuku. Why did you bring me here? At that moment, a red sphere came out of Izuku's body and Sonic.exe appeared. Izuku. Wow, I didn't know you could do that. Sonic.exe. I can stay like this for a few hours. Well, we'll go train you. Izuku. Train me? Confused. Sonic.exe. That's right. In your current state, you won't be able to use my full potential. Opening a portal. Izuku. And why? Sonic.exe. We'll go to another dimension. Time passes faster there. Will be enough for you to learn a few things, grabbing the little boy by the shirt and entering the portal. They appeared in a place where the sky was red and the rivers were blood. When Izuku saw it, he couldn't hold it in and vomited. Izuku. What is this place? Trying to suppress his nausea. Sonic.exe. This is a dimension I created. We'll spend 5 years training here. Leaving the green-haired boy in shock. Relax, in the real world it will only be a few hours. Now, let's train. Izuku. And what do I have to do? Sonic.exe. Making a training field appear, now run. Izuku. Huh. Then he sees that the ground where he was standing disappeared. What the? He couldn't finish because he had to jump since the next floor where he was standing disappeared. Sonic.exe. Hahaha, this will be fun. Watching Izuku run so as not to fall. After a few hours, Izuku was tired. Sonic. Well, that's all. Snapping his fingers, making the field disappear. Izuku. I did it. Falling asleep. Sonic.exe carried him to a house he created and laid him down. The next morning, the green-haired boy woke up to find Sonic staring at him, which startled him a little. Sonic.exe. You have to stop being such a scaredy cat, kid. Izuku. I'm sorry. Lowering his head. Sonic.exe. Alright, kid, get up. It's time to continue training. Izuku trained night and day, gaining some muscle. Sonic.exe. Izuku, I'll teach you how to change form. Transforming into Izuku. Izuku. Wow, that's amazing. What do I have to do? Sonic.exe. First, clear your mind. Izuku cleared his mind. Now think about the person you want to be. Izuku thought of All Might, and when he opened his eyes, he felt nothing. Izuku. Nothing happened. Sonic.exe. You think so? Showing him a mirror, and indeed he had transformed into the symbol of peace. Izuku. Awesome. I'm All Might. Making the symbol of peace pose, causing a bead of sweat to form on the hedgehog's forehead. Sonic.exe. Now try to imitate his voice. Speaking in Izuku's voice. Izuku. Hello. Speaking in All Might's voice, hahaha, this is incredible. Sonic.exe. Well. Returning to his original form, turning around and walking to the door, now I'll teach you how to fly. Turning around, seeing that Izuku wasn't paying attention because he was looking at himself in the mirror. Sonic.exe. TSK. Snapping his fingers, returning him to normal. Izuku. Looking at Sonic, sorry, I got carried away. Scratching his head. Sonic.exe. Whatever. Now I'll teach you how to fly. The scene changes to where they were on the edge of a cliff. Izuku. CR I think that I should try something that N isn't T so T high, peering a little over the edge. Sonic.exe. Nonsense, pushing him. Izuku. AI, screaming. Then he sees that Sonic was next to him. Sonic.exe. Very good kid, now concentrate, speaking a little loudly. Izuku. Knew I wanted to screaming. Sonic.exe. Concentrate, think that you are light as a feather. Izuku. Closing his eyes, thus concentrating, when he opened them he saw that he was still falling. A few meters from hitting the ground he was caught by Sonic. Sonic.exe. Calm down, it's okay, seeing how the boy was crying and trembling while he hugged him tightly. Time skipped 5 years. Izuku had already been able to fly with Sonic's help, he had also learned to manipulate reality. Every day he ran 10 kilometers, getting more and more his resistance. His attitude had also changed, since now he was more self-confident and no longer obsessed with heroes. Sonic created clones of darkness to attack Izuku. Little by little, the green-haired boy became faster and stronger. Sonic also taught him many things, giving him greater intelligence. He also became very calculating since Sonic told him that he had to learn to study his opponent quickly so that he could see their weaknesses. He also adapted to any form of fighting, although he still had a long way to go to be a prodigy, but he could last 20 minutes in a fight against Sonic, and for him, that was progress. Sonic.exe also taught him how to summon hellhounds. Sonic.exe. Very good, kid, you've learned everything I taught you, but now I'll teach you a technique that is difficult and requires a lot of concentration. Izuku. Nodding, I'm ready. Determined. Sonic.exe. I'll teach you an ability that will allow you to control people and make them do whatever you want. At first, it will work on weak minds. Strong minds will be a bit more complicated. Izuku. I understand. And what do I have to do? Sonic.exe. You have to clear your mind and concentrate specifically on the person you want to control. This ability has its weakness. If the person you're manipulating is harmed, you will be harmed as well. Izuku. I see. But I won't have to worry, right? Sonic.exe. Not at all, kid. Technically, you could heal your wounds in a matter of seconds. Your training is complete. Izuku. And what will happen to you? Will you leave? Sadly. Sonic.exe. Hahaha, no. After all, we are one. All this time we were in your head. We can talk whenever you want. Opening a portal, before you go, I'll give you all my power. You'll have to train it so it doesn't get out of control. Extending his hand. Izuku. Squeezing his hand, but then he felt Sonic hug him, surprised. Sonic.exe. Show them who's boss. While hugging him, Izuku's hair grew longer and along with it, Sonic ears appeared. Sonic.exe. Now it's time for you to go. Pushing him into the portal, thus saying goodbye. Chapter 4. Back in reality, Izuku was sleeping until he heard a knock on the cell door. All Might and Nezu entered. Izuku. What brings you here, symbol of peace? All Might. Well, young me, but he remembered what the principal had said. Izuku, the principal has something to tell you. Nezu. Well, young man, I wanted to tell you that you'll be coming with us to UA. Izuku. And what makes you think I'll be going with you? Nezu. Well, it's just that. Izuku. Don't tell me, do future heroes have problems? He tried to hold back his laughter, but saw them both look away. Izuku. Hahaha, I guessed it. Well, principal, I'll accept, but with a few conditions. Nezu. Of course. He was determined to recruit him. Izuku. First, I don't want your stupid students bothering me. If they do, they'll pay for it. His eyes glowed. Second, I'll kill the villains and the fake heroes. Almight. That's impossible. A hero can't kill. Izuku. Hahaha, and who said that? I'll be a hero, I'm a god, and besides, I'm talking to the director, not his bodyguard, making the blonde angry. That said, it's a deal. Nezu. Fine. At that, Izuku broke the chains and stood in front of the wheel. Izuku. A deal then. Extending his hand, which was shaken by the surprised director. Nezu. How did you? Those chains were made to stop All Might, and they also nullify the use of quirks. Shocked, just like the blonde. Izuku. Actually, I've always been able to get out of here. Walking towards the exit. Nezu. And why didn't you? He asked, since if someone with just brute force could do that, why didn't he escape? Izuku. Because I didn't want to miss Taco Tuesdays. You know, they make the best tacos here. Making both of them fall backward at the answer. As they walked towards the exit, the prisoners insulted Izuku, but when he passed by them, their heads fell. They exploded, exterminating all the villains in the prison, leaving both the director and the symbol of peace, as well as the guards, in shock. They then got into a car that would take them to UA. On the way, they stopped at a store so Izuku could buy some clothes since what he was wearing was dirty and torn. The green-haired boy bought black shoes, dark blue pants with a white t-shirt, and a blue hooded jacket. He also bought leather gloves and headphones with built-in music. Continuing their journey to UA, Nezu kept wondering why someone like him was in prison, why he let himself be captured, if he was strong, or what his quirk was. There were so many questions that he didn't notice when they arrived. He was pulled from his thoughts by All Might. The three of them headed to the office where a guy who looked like a homeless person was inside a sleeping bag, waking up. Nezu. Well, young man, let me introduce Shota Izawa. Izuku. The pro-hero racerhead. Izawa. This is the new one. He said it without interest. Nezu. That's right. Well, young man, your classroom will be 1A, and Izawa will be your teacher. Also, we're going to implement dorm rooms in the facilities due to some problems we've had recently. You can come at the end of classes to receive your room keys. With that, Izawa and Izuku left. Nezu. Is everything alright? Looking at All Might. All Might. Yes, it's just that the kid, remembering that he sensed something evil coming from the green-haired boy, doesn't give me a good feeling. Nezu. I see. Meanwhile, with Izuku and Izawa, the walk to their class was silent, but the freckled boy noticed the dark circles under Izawa's eyes, which he thought was due to using his quirk. Izuku. So, Eraserhead, your quirk doesn't allow you to rest well. Receiving a nod. What do you think if I fix your problem? Izawa. But he saw how Izuku put his hands covered his eyes, and a black liquid entered them. After a few minutes, the green-haired boy finally released the teacher, who fell to his knees. Izawa. What did you do to me? Tired. Izuku. I just fixed your problem. At that, Izawa felt better. He no longer felt tired, but rather that he had finally been able to sleep well. Izawa. Thank you. Getting up from the floor. They finally arrived at their classroom, where Izawa went in first. Izuku stayed outside but heard the students talking until he heard the black-haired boy's voice speaking to them, making everyone quiet down and sit down. Then he proceeded to give a series of instructions. Izawa. Well, as you know, UA has increased its security due to the problem that occurred at USJ. Also, the principal told me that he will be implementing rooms so that students can live here. We have already spoken with your parents, and they have agreed. It will also be prohibited for students to be outside too late. At that moment, a blue-haired boy raised his hand. Yes. Excuse me, Izawa-sensei, what will happen if the villains attack again? Izawa. If they attack again, you are only allowed to use your quirk in case of emergency. If it's not an emergency, withdraw and leave it to the pro-heroes. Also, the principal has brought someone to help and train you. This caused his entire class to start murmuring, saying things like, a new pro-hero? Or who could that person be? Izawa. Silence. Making everyone quiet. Then the same blue-haired boy raised his hand. Is it a pro-hero? Izawa. No. Then he held up a pink-haired girl. Is it a vigilante? Excitedly. Izawa. No. Everyone started murmuring again until a green-haired girl spoke up. If he's neither a pro-hero nor a vigilante, then who's going to help us improve, Izawa-sensei? Izawa. Sighing, he's a criminal. Leaving everyone in shock. That a criminal is going to teach us. But he's a villain. How is that possible? The blue-haired boy spoke again, a little agitated, while moving his arms like a robot. Izawa. Silence. These are orders from the principal, and you'd better not disturb him. You may enter. Giving the order, the door opened and a boy wearing a hood entered. He looked quite hexy in the girl's eyes. Then he removed his hood, revealing his ears. Izuku. My name is Izuku. Leaving a green-haired girl in shock. Oh Oni-chan. Izuku. So you're still alive, little sister. Hap 5. Izuku. So you're still alive, little sister. He flashed a smile that sent a shiver down everyone's spine. Izumi. Izuku why you're. Izuku. Alive? He asked angrily. That's right, little sister, but not thanks to you. Izawa. Calm down and go sit down. So Izuku walked through the crowd and sat in the back by the window. Izawa. Okay, now let's go to the courtyard. So everyone went to the courtyard. Izawa. Okay, you've already done this test, but you'll do it again to see how much you've improved. He showed a ball. Each student took their turn and threw their ball. Some had improved a lot, others not so much. Izawa. Okay, now it's your turn. He threw the ball, which Izuku caught. Izuku. Do I really have to do this? Izawa. That's right. Now throw it. Izuku prepared to throw it, making sure not to throw it too hard. When he threw it, the ball broke the sound barrier, leaving a crater surrounded the green-haired boy. Izawa watched as the ball rose higher and higher until the device exploded. Everyone was speechless, their eyes wide, especially when they heard what the green-haired boy. Izuku said. I didn't even have to use my quirk. He walked away. Everyone was surprised since he had only used brute force. They all went back to the classroom where they kept looking at Izuku, but he simply ignored them. It was recess. Everyone went to the cafeteria except Izuku, since, being immortal, he didn't need to eat. He learned this when he went a year without eating and thought he would die, but Sonic.exe told him that he wouldn't die since he was immortal. So he decided to walk around a bit. After a few minutes, he got bored of exploring, so he went to the cafeteria and sat in the most secluded and dimmest spot. He put on his headphones and started eating. He didn't notice when someone sat down next to him. He simply didn't pay attention until he felt his headphones being taken off. Then he looked and saw that it was his sister. Izumi. Izuku, angrily. Izuku. TSK, what do you want, Izumi? Frowning. Izumi. Hugging him, I'm so sorry please forgive me, I thought I was alone. Shedding a few tears. Izuku broke free from the hug and took off her headphones. Izuku. And you did it. If you dare do anything, you'll regret it. Looking at him coldly, his eyes turned black and only red dots were visible, then he left, leaving the green-haired girl crying. After recess, they returned to the classroom where, when everyone sat down, Almight entered. Almight. I'm walking like a normal person. Making a drop of sweat appear on the blue-haired boy. Ida. Almight, what are you doing here? Raising his hand. Almight. Well, I'm here because we're going to do some training. Pressing a button, taking out everyone's costumes. So everyone went out to change. Mineta. Guys, the gods have left us a present, showing him the hole, haha, can we see the girls? Can we see Momo, Uraraka? Oh, approaching, when he put his eye to the hole, he only saw a dark place where a deformed creature came out. It had a broken jaw and claws that could easily tear the skin. So Mineta fell frozen to the ground. Amanari. Dude, are you okay? Mineta. In shock. Amanari also put his eye to it, ending up the same as Mineta, while Izuku showed a foxy smile. The two were taken to the infirmary since they started convulsing and foaming at the mouth. Everyone was ready. Izuku was simply wearing the clothes he had bought. The truth was, he didn't care about being a hero anymore, although a small part of him was happy. He wasn't jumping for joy at being in the prestigious academy. Almight. Alright, we'll have a little training match. Everyone fights while Izuku watches from a corner, listening. The music played until he felt someone step in front of him, and it was none other than the blonde. Almight. Young Izuku, you shouldn't be training, reproachingly. Izuku. It wouldn't be easy to defeat them, especially if you're the one training them, shrugging. Almight. What did you say? Offended. Izuku. What I'm saying is that they wouldn't last a minute in a real fight. Almight. Well then, let's do something. Let's have a fight, being heard by everyone. Everyone was whispering, saying things like, he's crazy, nobody can beat Almight, or others like, that kid's got guts. Izuku. Fine, and if I win, I can skip your classes. Almight. Fine, and if I win, you'll train with the others. Izuku. Sounds fair. So the two went to the platform where they positioned themselves to begin the fight. Almight. Young man, I want to tell you that overconfidence isn't good. Izuku. And I want to tell you that just because you're the symbol of peace doesn't mean you're like a god. The title is just for me, he said the last part in a low voice. Lita. Alright, being the referee, begin, lowering his hand. The two launched themselves at great speed, and when their fists collided, they created a wave of wind that made some people take cover beneath them. The ground cracked. Neither of them retreated. They put more force into their attack, which caused a crater to slowly begin to form in the ground. Some students and teachers came out to see what was happening, finding that Almight was fighting a boy. Izuku? Don't tell me this is all your power. Almight? No. Almight's thoughts. This boy is strong, but I mustn't give up. I have to go beyond my limitations, smiling. Out of their minds. Both were throwing punches so fast that no one could see. Then Izuku kicked him, sending him flying and crashing into a wall. Everyone was surprised. Then they saw Almight boost himself. Almight. California smash. He delivered a direct hit that sent the green-haired boy flying. Izuku. Recovering from the blow, but saw Almight heading towards him. Izuku. This is getting fun. He blocked the attack, punching the symbol of peace in the face, sending him flying. Izuku All Might. I'll finish this with the next attack. Chapter 6. Izuku All Might. I'll finish this with the next attack. All Might. Detroit Smash. Activating 100% of his power, surprising everyone that he was serious. Izuku. Smiling, let's see if this is up to your standards. The two launched themselves into the air, causing a collision that shattered trees and windows. Some had to shield themselves from the impact to avoid being blown away. A huge cloud of dust rose. No one could see anything. The tension was palpable. When the dust settled, they saw that Izuku was unharmed except for half of his clothes, which revealed his well-built body with some scars that made him look even more masculine. This made the women present blush and made Izumi a little sad as she remembered what she used to do to her brother. But what shocked everyone was seeing All Might embedded in the wall, unconscious. Some men quickly created a dome around him so they couldn't see him when he transformed back. No one said a word. Everyone was amazed by the freckled boy's power, but they were all pulled out. Shocked by what Izuku said. Izuku. TSK, damn it, my clothes. Making everyone fall over in an I'm style, he was more worried about his clothes than himself. Izuku walked through the crowd as if nothing had happened. After class, the freckled boy went to the principal's office. When he arrived, Nezu gave him a series of instructions, and then he left. As he headed to his room, he passed through the common room where everyone was gathered. When they saw the green-haired boy enter, everyone fell silent. Izuku? What? Looking at everyone. Just then, a red-haired boy approached him and, before he knew it, hugged him. Hey man, that was incredible. You defeated All Might. You're amazing. Izuku? Thanks, I guess. By the way, your name is? Ejiro Kirishima. Giving him a smile. Izuku? Well, I have to go. Leaving, followed by an ash-blonde girl. Hey, you, Deku. Angrily. Izuku? Thinking, why of all people did it have to be her? Do you want to tell me how you have a angrily? Izuku? It's been a while, Kitsumi. He said it dryly, making the ash-blonde girl feel a pang in her chest, but she didn't pay attention to it. Kitsumi? Now tell me how the hell you have a quirk. Standing in front of him. Izuku, somewhat tired, simply ignored her, making her angry. She grabbed his hand while with the other she started making small explosions. Kitsumi. Don't ignore me, who believes you? But she didn't finish because the green-haired boy put her against the wall, cornering her. Izuku. No, who do you think you are? I don't have to say anything to you. Maybe in the past I considered you my best friend and maybe even something more, but when you rejected me and you and that damn sister of mine started using me as a test subject for your quirks, we stopped being friends. So I'll tell you this once. If you even think about coming near me, you'll pay it dearly. Got it, Bakugo? He looked at her with his red eyes. Kitsumi. Why yes. The green-haired boy let go of her and continued on his way. The ash-blonde girl was surprised that the scaredy cat crybaby boy was gone. She felt a slight burning sensation on her cheeks. Looking at her reflection in a window, she saw that she was blushing and didn't know why. Kitsumi. Why do I feel like this? Remembering how the green-haired boy cornered her and spoke in an imposing voice, making her blush even more. Meanwhile, Izuku had arrived at his room. Izuku. It's not bad, but it could be better, rubbed his hands. With the help of his ability to distort reality, he finished his small room. After a few minutes. Izuku said. Okay, now for the bathroom. Everyone was in the living room chatting until they started hearing things falling. They all followed the sound coming from the green-haired boy's room. They were all a little unsure about going in, but the noises got louder and louder. So Iida knocked on the door. When he did, the noises stopped and a green-haired boy came out wearing shorts and a tight t-shirt that showed off his toned body. Izuku said. Yes. He said without interest. Iida said. Nothing, we just heard some noises. Izuku said. Well, sorry for the noise, but I'm done, so there's nothing to worry about. Trying to close the door, but was stopped by a pink alien, yes. Hey, could we see your room? Izuku said. Yes, we could do it again. We'll see everyone's rooms. An invisible girl spoke, and some agreed. Everyone checked the rooms, just like in the original story. Nothing had changed. Izuku was surprised to see the boy's room with a bird's head. He waited until everyone had left so the two of them could stay. Izuku. This is your room. That's right. Izuku. It's kind of dark, but if you want, I can improve it, smiling macabrely. So Izuku began to distort the boy's room, making it darker. When he finished, the boy's reaction was one of joy. It's beautiful, with stars in his eyes. By the way, my name is Fumikage Tokoyami, stroking his new things. Izuku. Okay, I'll give you some space. Leaving slowly, he found everyone waiting for him. Are you still here? Iida. You have to show us your room. Izuku. Sighing, fine, follow me. Upon arriving at the green-haired boy's room, everyone was surprised. Instead of a room, it looked like a house. It had 3 bookshelves with several books, a living room with various instruments and numerous CDs of all kinds, and when they went to see the bathroom, it had a bathtub that could easily be mistaken for an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But everyone was startled by a shout. Where did you get these books? They're original copies. I tried to get them. Said a black-haired girl with a rather large bust. Izuku. Well, I have some contacts. Do you play? Said a purple-haired girl with short hair, surprised by the numerous CDs. Izuku. Sometimes. He said it casually. Izumi. Wow, brother, your room is incredible. Izuku. Thanks, but get it through your head that we're not related. Making the green-haired girl saddened. Izuku. Why yes, sorry. Leaving. You have very good taste. Said a girl with two-toned hair. Izuku. Thanks. Well, you can all go now. I need to rest. And so everyone left except for one black-haired girl and purple-haired girl who were watching. Izuku. If you want, you can take some books, he said to the black-haired girl, and you can take whatever music you like, going to his bed. Are you sure? The black-haired girl spoke. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. Izuku. Don't worry, wanting to be alone. Really, I can take whatever I want. Izuku. Yes, somewhat annoyed. So the girls took what they wanted and left. Izuku. Sighing, finally some peace, thus falling asleep. Hap 7. The next morning, the green-haired boy woke up and went to his classroom where everyone was chatting. He didn't pay them any attention. He was tired, so he decided to sleep until the teacher arrived. A few minutes passed, and the teacher finally arrived. Izawa. Alright, everyone, today you'll have to. Seeing that Izuku was asleep, he used his bandages to wake him up. Well, as I was saying, today you'll train with Class 1B. I'll wait for you downstairs. With that, he left. All the students got up from their seats and went to where Izawa was. When they arrived, they saw that Class 1B was already there. Izawa. Alright, we can begin. So, everyone went out to the training field where Izuku was simply preparing to sleep since, for him, it was still very early. But in reality, he was in his mind's eye, training. Sonic.exe. You've improved a lot. Stopping a kick from the green-haired boy. Izuku. Thanks. I have a good teacher. Sonic.exe. Izuku, do you want me to teach you how to enter people's dreams? Izuku. Enter the, surprised. Sonic.exe. You could get revenge on your dear little sister, showing him the memories of his torture. Sonic.exe. Just think about it, your defenseless little sister in a world where you can learn to control it at will, you can do anything with a smile that would make even the bravest tremble. Izuku. It wouldn't be bad to pay her back in kind. So Sonic showed him how he could enter people's dreams. At first, Izuku couldn't do it and because of that, he suffered terrible headaches and dizziness. Meanwhile, in the real world, the students were warming up while Izuku murmured some words in the freckled boy's mind. 2 weeks had passed. Izuku could now enter people's dreams without a problem. He had also trained new moves. Sonic.exe. Hey kid, you better wake up. Izuku. Huh? Sonic.exe. It seems you're going to fight and Izawa is on his way, showing how the black-haired boy approached the freckled boy's body. Sonic.exe. Or if you want, I can take your place. His smile widens. Izuku. No. Getting serious. Sonic.exe. Come on, last time was fun. Izuku. TSK. Sonic.exe. Hahaha, see, even you liked it. The green-haired boy vanished and Izawa woke up. Izawa. Izuku, let's have a match. Izuku. I'll pass. He lay back down, but Izawa pulled him up with his bandages and dragged him to where the others were. Izawa. Alright, now everyone make teams. You'll fight Izuku. Everyone, including the green-haired boy. Izawa. Activating his quirk, is there a problem? No one said anything, but the green-haired boy wasn't going to stay silent. Izuku. Yes, why against me? Izawa. Because you're the only one who could fight without getting tired. Izuku. TSK. Moving away from the others, Class 1B considered attacking him, but Class 1A stopped them, urging them to face him together. Seeing how he defeated the symbol of peace, they all agreed. They were ready to attack, just waiting for the fight to begin. They saw the black-haired boy lower his hand, thus starting the battle. Everyone rushed towards the green-haired boy. Izuku. This will be a waste of time. Everyone tried to hit the green-haired boy, who dodged their attacks, giving them a brutal beating and making them all look ridiculous. Only 6 people remained. A bi-colored girl, an ash-blonde girl, a green-haired girl, an orange-haired girl, a blonde girl, and a blonde-haired boy. Then the blonde-haired boy approached Izuku. Izuku. But he saw the blonde boy touch him. Raising his hair, my quirk allows me to have the quirk of others when I touch them for a few minutes, but that's enough that I, the great Monoma. Izuku. So that's your name. Monoma. Monoma. Yes, and now I win. He throws a punch, but is surprised it doesn't move him. How? But he is grabbed by the neck and lifted up. Izuku. Let me tell you something, is it easy to copy a god's quirk, with a sadistic smile that frightens the blonde. Monoma. Wait, the Redeed looked for any blind spot but couldn't find one. Her defense was perfect, which surprised the Redeed. Wow, I see you know my fighting style quite well. Izuku. I know some styles. So, he dove back to where the freckled boy had the advantage. He waited for his rival to let his guard down, grabbing his arm and throwing him to the ground. The impact was so strong it made him drool. Izuku took advantage of the few seconds it would take the orange-haired girl to recover from the impact, striking her neck and knocking her unconscious. When she got up, she saw that her feet were frozen. Seeing the trail of ice, she saw that it came from the bi-colored girl, who took advantage of the situation to throw a large wall of ice at him. Everyone thought they had won, but then they saw the green-haired boy carrying the unconscious orange-haired girl next to the impact site. Everyone was surprised at the moment the freckled boy broke free. He laid her on the ground and saw where the bi-colored girl was, but he had to dodge a whip of fire coming from his sister. His sister didn't want to hurt him. Over the years she had learned to control the temperature of her fire. So she threw several fireballs at him and began to hit him with the whips, which the green-haired boy received without moving. Izuku. You, hating that damn quirk, a whip with a slightly higher temperature struck him in the face, leaving a mark. Izumi. Izuku Anand, but she didn't finish because her brother grabbed the whip and pulled her towards him, grabbing her by the neck. Izuku. You don't know how long I've waited for this, clamming into the floor several times. His hatred blinded him so much that he didn't see when blood started to fall from the green-haired girl's head, scaring everyone, but Izuku let go of her and stepped back several centimeters as he received a blow from Melissa with 90% of OFA that injured his hand. Pap 8. Izuku. Don't interfere, it's a family fight. Melissa. You almost killed her. Angry, that's not what heroes do. Izuku. Whatever. But he's sent flying by an explosion. The freckled boy was already angry. Itsumi approached him quickly, propelled by her explosions, but the green-haired boy moved fast, grabbing her face and slamming her to the ground, knocking her out. Only the bi-colored girl and the Redeed remained. Melissa threw herself at him, giving it her all, but it was simply useless. Then she punched the freckled boy in the stomach. Izuku. That hurt a little. Giving him the same punch that knocked the wind out of him, along with a few drops of blood that came out of his mouth, but it's not enough. Then he looks at the bi-colored girl. She was throwing several spikes at him, which the freckled boy dodged or broke with his hand, slowly approaching her. The freckled boy saw that she herself was starting to freeze. Then he approached her and said. Izuku. I see that you possess 2 quirks. Why don't you use the other one? I'll never use his quirk. Angrily, she received a punch to the stomach and the green-haired boy whispered something in her ear. Izuku. Then don't see it that way. That power is yours. He has no power over you, and if you don't use it, you won't be better than him. If you don't use it, you'll simply be like him. At that, the bi-colored girl was shocked. She saw everything in slow motion as her body fell to the ground while she watched Izuku walk away. Izuku. I think, but he felt a little heat and saw a fire tornado appear, caused by the bi-colored girl. I'll defeat you. Determined, she threw herself at Izuku, who had a small smile on his face. She waited until she was close to hit him, but didn't. She threw a wall of ice, which was a distraction, and struck him with her flaming foot, which managed to land. Izuku. Wiping a trickle of blood from his lip, that was better. Thus began the fight where Izuku began to distort reality, causing the bi-colored girl to feel dizzy and unable to stand properly. She decided to give it her all, unleashing a powerful burst of flames with every ounce of strength she possessed. Izuku shielded himself by forming an X with his arms, protecting some students from the fire. The teachers tried to stop the blaze, and when it subsided, they saw that the freckled boy's arms were covered in third-degree burns. They were surprised that he wasn't writhing in pain, suggesting he had an incredible pain tolerance. His flesh was burned, and even some of the bones in his arms were exposed, with drops of blood trickling from them. Everyone was horrified by the scene. Izuku approached the bi-colored girl. She had used everything in that final attack. She was about to faint, but before her head hit the ground, the freckled boy caught her. Izuku. Not bad, he held her like a princess, but then he couldn't take it anymore, and the bi-colored girl fainted in the freckled boy's arms. The teachers rushed to help the freckled boy. Izawa. Give her to me, your arms are healed. Izuku. Where's the infirmary? Izawa. It's over there, showing him the way. Without another word, the freckled boy went where they told him. When he arrived, he was greeted by an old woman. Izuku. She'll be alright. She just needs to rest, but you, boy, are seriously injured. Let me. Izuku. Don't worry, seeing the old woman's name, recovery girl, I'm fine. At that moment, his arms began to heal on their own, surprising the old woman since, to her, his arms were lost and needed to be amputated. She saw how the tissues were rebuilt and the dead flesh fell to the floor as if it were a shedding of skin. After a few minutes, the freckled boy's arms were as good as new. Izuku. Well, goodbye, leaving the infirmary. The green-haired boy went to the lounge to rest. After a while, he decided to watch a movie. He went to prepare popcorn and grabbed some sodas, then sat down and started watching a horror movie. After a few hours, all his classmates entered the room. Some had bandages, others had casts. They found the green-haired boy sitting in front of the television as if nothing had happened, like a small child. He couldn't stop staring at the screen. Ida. You shouldn't be in the hospital. Izuku. In a hospital. Me. Without taking his eyes off the television. Hiroshima. If you suffered very serious burns, your arms should be, but he fell when he saw that his arms were as if nothing had happened. Izuku. You're talking about my arms? Showing the others that his arms were as if nothing had happened. Ida. How could even recovery not heal your arms? While moving his arms like a robot. Izuku. She didn't do anything. Surprising everyone. Melissa. Then how did it heal you so quickly? Surprised. Izuku. My quirk allows me to regenerate any part of my body, whether it was torn off or suffered something serious, would regenerate without any problem, showing a hand that turned into a claw, cutting off his arm and tearing off a good portion of skin, which scared everyone, while others felt like running to the bathroom, but were surprised as his arm returned to normal. Incredible, said the black-haired girl with large breasts. At that moment they were disgusted to see how the green-haired boy ate his own flesh that he had torn off a moment ago. Melissa. Why did you do that? Disgusted. Izuku. I never waste food, getting up and giving the remote to Lita. There, watch whatever you want, going to his room. Everyone settled down to watch a movie, but Izumi kept her head down, remembering how her brother had hit her and shown no remorse. She got up and went to her room, opened a drawer, and took out a copper box. She closed the drawer, sat on her bed, and opened the box. Inside was a photo of her parents, and another one of them together, Izuku and Izumi being hugged by their parents. She let out a few tears. Izumi. I will fulfill your wish, Mom, Dad, hugging the photo. Chapter 9. Flashback. We see the family watching a movie. Everything was happiness and laughter. They also looked at some photos until they got to Izuku's. No one knew why, but without Izuku, they felt empty. So, without giving it much thought, they all went to bed. But Izumi dreamed about Izuku and remembered when he defended her, no matter if he got hurt. Waking up the next morning, Izumi spoke to her parents. Izumi. Mom, Dad, do you think what we did was right? Sadly. Inko. Huh. What are you talking about, honey? Serving her breakfast. Izumi. I miss Izuku. No matter how many times they left me alone, no matter how many times I bothered him or burned him, when they bothered me, he defended me. Letting a few tears escape at that moment, her parents realized their mistake, and each had a memory. Inko remembered how she insulted him or cursed him, and he always smiled at her, and always told her he loved her. Hisashi remembered how she burned him, but whenever he saw her, he never had a smile on his face. Anger, or rather sadness, everyone let out their sorrow. Hisashi went to where he had buried his son. Hisashi. Please forgive me, Izuku, forgive me. He dug up the grave, but no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find the body. Izuku, in shock, he started searching to see if he had managed to escape, maybe he was unconscious. He spent 2 hours looking for him, but found nothing. So he went to a hospital, thinking he would be there, but at every hospital he went to, they always told him they hadn't received the boy. So he went to his family and told them what had happened. Inko. My baby. She fell to the floor and shed a few tears. Izumi. She didn't say anything and went to her brother's room. She was surprised that there was almost nothing there, just a bed if you could even call it that, 2 sheets and a pillow full of rocks. She was shocked. She approached a corner where there was blood, but it was already dried. Small flashes came to her mind of how they tortured him, how he begged them to stop. Izumi couldn't take it anymore. And she fell to her knees crying. From that day on, life changed for the Midoriya family. Her parents were no longer cheerful. They no longer showed their smiles. Meanwhile, the green-haired girl cut off all contact with them. She didn't want to see them or even speak to them. She blamed them for killing her brother since he had several wounds and she seriously doubted whether he had survived. She also stopped becoming obsessed with heroes, but not completely, since she still admired Almight as he was the only thing that reminded her of her brother. She still remembered how Izuku imitated the hero's poses. She missed her brother's company. She felt alone. Then one night, she woke up to a noise and saw that the house she was in was on fire. So she ran to her parents' room, but she saw that they were trapped by the flames. Izumi. Mom, Dad. Inko. Izumi, get out of here. Izumi. No, I won't leave them, with tears in her eyes. Isashi. Daughter, princess, listen to me. Live for both of us, and if you ever find your brother, take care of him. I know he'll hate us, but try to make him forgive you, coughing. Izumi. I won't get you out of there, trying to use her quirk, but she couldn't. The boards were too heavy for a simple child. Inko. Please, you have to get out of here. Don't forget that we will always love you. I have a feeling your brother is alive. Please take care of each other. Izumi, with tears in her eyes, decided to leave the house, but on the way, she saw the photo where they were all together and smiling. So she took the photo and left. She saw how the house she had grown up in was collapsing. She went to live with Kitsumi since Mitsuki decided to adopt her, and when she asked about Izuku, she told her that he couldn't leave. From that day on, she decided to fulfill her parents' request. Then flashback. Izumi let a few tears fall. So she went to sleep. She was in a dark place. She started walking around until she saw a house. It seemed strange to her, so she went inside. She saw nothing but a chimney. She approached it and saw Izuku. Izumi. Ani-chan. But then chains came out of the ground and she saw the house disappear, and Izuku too. Izumi. Ani-chan, please wait. Trying to remove the chains, but it didn't work. She tried to activate her quirk, but it didn't work. Wait, please. But she saw Izuku disappear. Izumi. Izuku. But then she heard some footsteps, so she became alert. Hello. Approaching her. Izumi. Who are you? Have you already forgotten me? Coming out of the darkness, revealing it was the freckled boy. Izumi. Ani-chan. Then she saw the chains pull her to the ground and a cross came out of the ground. She couldn't move. What is this? A little nervous. Izuku. Calm down, little sister, approaching her, everything will be alright, getting close to her ear and blowing on it, making her let out a small moan. Izumi. Izuku, but she didn't finish because she was kissed. The kiss lasted for a few minutes until they separated for lack of air, Izuku nai, blushing. Izuku. Putting his finger to her lips. Izumi. This is wrong, trying to break free, but she saw her brother's eyes and could only see red eyes that glowed in the darkness. Izuku. Calm down, I promise we'll have a great time, tearing off her clothes. At night Izuku entered his sister's dreams and raped her. The screams and the look she gave him only excited him more. The next morning Izumi woke up agitated and disturbed. Izumi. It was just a dream. Calming herself, she went to take a shower and got ready for class. When she arrived, she saw her brother looking out the window. Izumi swore she saw Izuku smiling in the reflection. Seeing him like that made her blush a little, and she wondered if it was just a dream or not. App 10. Class went by normally, except that Izumi's friends noticed she was acting a little strange. When it was time to go to the cafeteria, Izuku decided to go out to the courtyard. He wanted some peace and quiet, so he decided to lie down under a tree. He felt free. It was so peaceful until he felt someone block the sunlight. Opening his eyes, he found himself face to face with an orange-haired girl. Hi, she greeted him. Izuku. Itsuka Kendo, he said, smiling. Izuku. So, how can I help you, Kendo-chan? He stood up, making the girl blush at how he called her. Kendo. Well, I saw that you're very good and I was wondering if you could train me. Izuku. Train you? In a surprised tone, and why? Kendo. Well, it's just that your skills are more advanced than mine, and that's why I wanted to see if you could train me. She fidgeted with her fingers. Izuku. Okay. Kendo. Really? Happily. Izuku. We'll start tomorrow. Early, leaving the place. Kendo. Okay, goodbye, leaving. The green-haired boy left, but he didn't realize that he was seen by a green-haired girl and an ash-blonde girl who didn't know why, but unconsciously the green-haired girl activated her pyrokinesis quirk while the blonde created small explosions. Once they realized it, they deactivated them and left. The freckled path led them to several flowers, and in the middle of them was a green-haired girl praying, which he found strange. Then Obara stood up and saw the green-haired boy. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you, in a sweet voice. Izuku. And your name is? Obara Shiozaki, and yours? Izuku. Izuku, just Izuku. One question. Why were you praying? Obara. Well, I pray to atone for my sins. Izuku. Not understanding. Obara. You know, why don't you join me in praying? That way you could atone for your sins. Izuku. No, thank you. I don't have to pray to anyone. Obara. Hey, and why do you say that? Izuku. Easy, because I can take away, touching a flower, causing it to wither, and give life, putting it on the green-haired girl's hair, making the flower return to its original color, creating a butterfly, and destroy, blowing on the butterfly, making it disappear. Obara. But the only one who can do that is our Lord, our Creator. Izuku. Whatever you say, but I am, how should I put it, a god. He walks away, causing some flowers to die. The green-haired boy continued walking until he heard the bell, signaling the end of recess. He went to his physical education class, where the teacher told them they would work in pairs, naming the teams. The bi-colored girl and the green-haired boy were the last ones. Izuku had his headphones on, so he didn't hear anything until he felt someone take them off. Izuku. Hey, I was hearing that. A little annoyed. We have to practice in groups, she said curtly. Izuku. TSK. So the two of them moved a little away from the others to train. The bi-colored girl was the one training, while Izuku stayed seated. After a few hours, the bi-colored girl saw that her partner had fallen asleep and getting angry, she approached and was going to hit her until she saw Izuku stop her. Izuku. I see you're finished. Without opening her eyes. I'm the one who did all the work. Angrily. Izuku. I see. Getting up and leaving. Where are you going? Izuku. I'm going to sleep over there. Pointing to a shady place, but then he dodged an ice spike. Hey, what's wrong with you? Take the training more seriously. But she saw that Izuku started laughing. What's so funny? Izuku. You call that training? Ha. Don't make me laugh. Do you think you can do better? Izuku. Believe me, that doesn't compare to the hell I'm going through. How about we have a little duel? Sounds good to me. So Izuku threw the first punch, which was blocked by a wall of ice, but the wall shattered before it could hit him. Some people stopped what they were doing and watched the small fight that was breaking out. Shota threw fireballs and ice spikes, but they didn't do anything. So Izuku swept the bi-colored girl's feet, silencing her. When she was about to get up, the green-haired boy put his foot on her chest, becoming the winner. Izuku. You did well. Extending his hand, the bi-colored girl grabbed it and helped him up. By the way, what's your name? Shota. Shota Todoroki. Izuku. What happened to your face? Shota. Lowering her head, it's nothing. She said it coldly, I bet you think I'm not as pretty as the others. Imagining a yes, since she had received several insults since that burn. Some men told her she wasn't as pretty as the other girls. Izuku. I don't think so. Shota. Huh. Izuku. It looks good on you. This caused a slight blush to appear on his face. Everyone stared at this, their eyes rolling to the floor, while some men's mouths dropped open. Some thought he'd made the Ice Queen blush, while others, like Denki and Mineta, cursed the green-haired boy. Shota. Ah really? Izuku. That's right, but if you want, I can fix it. Shota. Surprised, really? Izuku. That's right. Approaching the mark with his hand, I can. Receiving a nod from the bi-colored girl. So the freckled boy placed his hand where a black liquid came out, covering the burn. A few minutes passed, and it was gone. Izuku withdrew his hand, revealing that there was nothing left. Izuku. Done. Shota. Yeah. Thinking it hadn't worked. Izuku. That's right. Creating a mirror where he showed Shota, she was surprised. She saw where she had the burn and couldn't help but shed a few tears. Shota. My BB burn and it's gone now. Thinking this was a dream. Izuku. You're welcome. By the way, you look prettier when you smile. Ruffling her hair and leaving a blushing bi-colored girl behind, while some girls got jealous. Thus ended the day, where the green-haired boy went to his room and decided to take a bath. In the water, he saw the reflection of Sonic.exe. He changed and went to sleep, where he decided to visit Izumi again. Izuku. Relax, little sister. With a slightly foxy smile. Izumi. Oh Onechan. Izuku. Relax, just enjoy it. While kissing her neck. App 11. Izumi tried to break free while watching her brother play with her. Izumi begged him to stop, but she fell silent and all she could see was her brother thrusting into her. She wanted him to stop, but it seemed Izuku enjoyed seeing the panic and fear on his sister's face. The next morning, Izumi woke up with dark circles under her eyes, got dressed, and headed to class. Classes went by normally. Finally, Izuku was waiting for Kendo to train her, so the two went to the training field. Kendo. So, what are we going to do, sensei? Looking at Izuku. Izuku. Tell me, Izuku. The first thing we'll do is a small sparring match. Then I'll tell you the rest. He took off his hoodie, revealing the shirt underneath, which was pressed against his chest, making his physique visible and causing the orange-haired girl to blush. Izuku. Okay, let's begin. You just focus on attacking. I'll defend myself. Ready? Getting into a fighting stance. Kendo. Yes. Getting into a fighting stance. Izuku. Now. So Kendo lunged towards him, focusing solely on blocking the orange-haired girl's attacks. A few minutes passed and Izuku told her to stop. Izuku. You're doing well, but you're focusing so much on just one point. You have to see your opponent's other blind spots. Kendo. I understand. Izuku. Good, now try again. So Kendo attacked again, but this time she did what the green-haired boy told her, almost landing a hit. However, Izuku was faster and managed to stop her, making the orange-haired girl smile. Izuku. Better. Kendo. Yes, thank you. Excited. Izuku. Okay, now fighting styles. Kendo. Huh. More fighting styles. Confused. Izuku. That's right. The more styles you know, the more combinations you can make and that way you can easily defeat your opponent. Kendo. I see. Thinking. Izuku. Also, you might face a villain who also knows your fighting style and if that happens, you'll have problems. But by combining styles, you'll have the advantage. Giving her a bottle of water. Kendo. Okay, taking the bottle, then I'll train more fighting styles, excited. Izuku. Okay, you can go now, that's all for today, leaving, but he heard the orange-haired girl shout thank you. The green-haired boy went to his room where he took a quick bath and changed into something more comfortable. He decided to take a short night walk. He walked through the streets without attracting much attention when he passed by an alley where he heard some young men approaching. He saw that they were mistreating a puppy. Izuku. Hey, you guys, calling the guy's attention. I won. Huh, what do you want? I too. Can't you see we're in the middle of something? Izuku. Guys, I don't want to resort to violence, just give me the puppy and I promise you won't die. Subject 2. What do you want with this weakling? Weaklings have to die. Grabbing the puppy, but if you want him, take him. Throwing him towards the green-haired boy who caught him. Izuku. Relax, I won't be long. Taking off his hoodie and wrapping the little one up, carefully placing him on the ground. Subject 1. Hey, what are you going to do? He's just a stupid animal. But he didn't finish because Izuku appeared in front of him, grabbing his head and slamming it against a wall repeatedly, cracking it and killing the guy. His body fell to the ground. Subject 2. Huh. Trying to run, but Izuku saw a steel rod, picked it up and with his strength threw it, stabbing him in the leg. Subject 2. Ah, my leg. My damn leg. Trying to pull the rod out, but the freckled boy appeared in front of him, please and no. But the freckled boy put his foot on the rod and pressed down, making the rod key to the ground, so the subject fainted. Izuku. Huh, so soon. He grabbed the stick and pulled it out, waking the subject. Subject 2. Ah. Screaming in pain. Izuku. You're weak. Subject 2. Please don't hurt me anymore. He backed away. Izuku. And the weak. Subject 2. No, please. Crying. Izuku. They must die. In a sadistic voice. Subject 2. No, please, help. But he didn't finish because the freckled boy, with his hand transformed into a claw, killed him, staining the wall with blood. The green-haired boy approached the puppy, who was badly injured and whose heartbeat was getting weaker and weaker. Izuku. Don't worry, no one will hurt you again. Seeing as the puppy closed its eyes and its heart stopped, you didn't deserve this. No one decides the life they lead. You had bad luck. People like us will always be the ones affected or bothered by the most strength as the law of survival, but that will change. I will change it. He touches the puppy, causing a black liquid to enter its eyes, nose, and mouth. He withdraws his hand, and the puppy begins to move. All its wounds heal, its heart starts beating again, but it begins to take on a somewhat demonic appearance, getting up. Izuku. You won't be weak anymore. He starts to leave, but feels something stop his leg. He sees it's the puppy, which is biting his pants. Izuku. Do you want to come with me? Receiving a bark of affirmation. Izuku. Okay. Carrying the puppy. I don't think animals are allowed. But then he remembers the principle. You know, I think one more animal wouldn't be a problem. He walks to UA. When he arrives, he's lucky not to run into anyone. He goes to his room where the puppy starts playing, chewing on the furniture and pillows. Izuku. I think I'll have to buy you some things. Wait here, I won't be long. He climbed out the window and when he returned, he saw everything destroyed and saw the culprit biting his last pillow. Wow, hahaha, I didn't know a little guy could cause such a mess. With his power, he repaired everything, leaving it as good as new. Well, I'd better give you a bath. He went to the bathtub and tried to bathe the little one, but it wouldn't let him, getting it wet. Izuku. Hahaha, you know, I always wanted a dog, but what should I call you? Thinking of a name, how about Fred? Receiving a growl, Jack. Receiving a growl. 2 hours passed while the green-haired boy tried to come up with a name until Sonic, annoyed that he couldn't name it, told him to name it Cerberus. Izuku. What do you think of Cerberus? The puppy liked it. Okay, then that will be your name. He put a collar on it and when he put it on, its name appeared on it. Chapter 12. The next morning, the green-haired boy was sleeping when Cerberus jumped onto his bed and started licking him, waking him up. Izuku. I'm awake now. Rubbing his eyes, you're lucky it's Saturday. He served the puppy food and changed his clothes. Just then, he heard someone knock on his door. Hide and don't make a sound. He told the puppy, opening the door to find a short-haired purple-haired girl and a black-haired girl. Izuku. You two again. Hello, sorry if we bothered you. The black-haired girl spoke. Izuku. It's okay. Approaching the door, what do you need? Well, we came to return what we took and we were wondering if we could take more things. Izuku. Sure, come in. They entered, put what they had taken back, and looked for new things. By the way, we haven't introduced ourselves properly. My name is Momo Yaoi Rozu. The girl introduced herself. Black-haired girl. My name is Kyoka Jiru, the purple-haired girl spoke. Just then they heard a small bark. Momo. Hey, what's that? Izuku. Hey, what? Trying to keep the puppy hidden. Momo. I heard like a bark. Izuku. Well, you must be imagining things. Not paying much attention, but then they heard another bark. So the girls went to where the sound came from, finding the puppy. Momo Kyoka. Kaya, it's adorable. Hugging the little one who licked their faces. Kyoka. How come you have a dog? Animals are forbidden. While playing with the animal. Izuku. Well, I have one and I'd ask you to keep it a secret. Momo. Okay, and by the way, what's its name? Izuku. Cerberus. Kyoka. Cerberus. Confused. Izuku. That's right. Momo. And why Cerberus? Izuku. Well, it suits him, Hellhound. Kyoka. What do you mean, Hellhound? Izuku. That's right, look. A mannequin appears, Cerberus attacks. The girls watched as the puppy grew in size and its teeth became sharp. It attacked the mannequin, destroying it, but it didn't stop there and wanted to attack the girls. However, Izuku appeared in front of it and punched it in the neck, causing it to return to normal. Kyoka. What was that? Surprised. Momo. How did that happen? But how did that happen? Trying to find an explanation. Izuku. It's a long story. Now, if it's not too much trouble, I have to train Cerberus. Momo. Hey, but when she realized it, she was outside the room with her friend. Kyoka. That was weird. Meanwhile, Izuku had picked up the little one and flown out the window to a park where he woke the little one up. Izuku. Okay, I'm going to train you. A ball appears, now bring it to me. He throws the ball, and the puppy just watches. Izuku. Bring it to me. He points at the ball, but the dog lies down on the ground and turns around, wanting his belly rubbed, causing a bead of sweat to form on the freckled boy's face. Izuku. This is going to be a long training session. Hours passed, and Izuku kept throwing the ball, trying to get the puppy to fetch it, but he only managed to make the puppy go somewhere else, or when he got close to the ball, he would take it and stay there playing. Izuku was already giving up when he threw the ball, but it hit a girl. Ouch. Izuku. Sorry, it's just that I was trying to train my dog. The puppy appears and jumps on the girl, licking her face. I think this is him. Receiving a nod from the freckled boy. Well, here you go. He hands her the ball. By the way, my name is Utakeyama. He extends the hand. Izuku. I'm Izuku, just Izuku, shaking his hand. You. I see your little friend's training isn't working, watching the puppy chase a butterfly. Izuku. Haha, nervous. You. If you want, I can help you, I like animals. Izuku. Sure. So they spent time with you helping Izuku train Cerberus. They got to know each other and finally managed to get Cerberus to fetch the ball. It was getting late, so they said goodbye. You. See you later, Izuku. Izuku. Goodbye you. By the way, thanks for helping me with Cerberus, seeing that he was asleep on the ground. You. It was nothing, I really had a lot of fun. Izuku. Me too. You. By the way, Izuku, you study at UA, right? Izuku. I wouldn't exactly say study. You. Well, goodbye, Izuku, leaving. Izuku. Goodbye, you, picking up the puppy and leaving, he decided to walk. Snowflakes began to fall. Izuku. Extending his hand and catching one, it seems it started to snow, while continuing to walk. At UA, the students saw snowflakes begin to fall, so they all went outside to watch. Izumi. Another Christmas without you here, in a sad tone, but she felt someone's hand touch her shoulder, seeing that it was the ash-haired girl. The time that passed, the two had become very good friends, considering themselves almost sisters. Tatsumi. Don't make that face. Izumi. You're right, hugging her, watching the snowfall and the sky showing that a big snowfall was coming. Christmas special. I know there are 3 days left until Christmas, but I want to do it now, I hope you like it. You can see class 1A, except for the freckled boy, gathered in the living room. Lita. Well, as you know, today is Christmas and I asked the teachers and the principal for permission to have a party tonight and they gave us permission, making everyone excited. Lita. Good, here, showing them a hat, I've written what each of us will do. Some will do the decorations, others will go buy the things for dinner, others will be in charge of cooking the turkey and the other things. Finally, we'll go buy the presents. So each one went and took a slip of paper. When they opened it, everyone already had a task to do. Meanwhile, in the green-haired boy's room, he was looking out his window as the trees were covered by a white layer of snow. His gaze was lost in the small snowflakes that were falling. His classmate saw him, so he came closer and climbed onto his lap. Izuku began to stroke his friend's soft fur. Then he heard a voice and in the reflection of the window, appeared Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe. Why that face, kid? Izuku. Nothing, it's just that he had no words to describe what he felt. Sonic.exe. I understand, since upon joining, he felt the freckled boy's emotions. You feel lonely at this time of year, right? Izuku. Just nods. Sonic.exe. Come on, don't make that face. It's been a long time, why now? Why does today have to be different? You've been alone, you spent your birthdays alone, you spent Christmases alone, just so you have this feeling. Izuku. Maybe it doesn't mean anything to you, but I still have a little bit of my humanity, you know, looking at Sonic.exe who had a smile. Sonic.exe. Whatever, disappearing. Izuku. Cerberus, I'm going for a walk, while putting him on his bed. I won't be long, and don't do anything that will get you caught, receiving a bark. Upon leaving his room and passing through the living room, he saw his classmates putting up decorations while others decorated a tree. He just clicked his tongue and continued on his way. He went into the kitchen for a glass of he was drinking orange juice, but he found the girls talking about what they were going to cook. One of them was his sister, who, seeing him approach the refrigerator and take out the orange juice, decided to speak. Izumi. Izuku, what are you planning to do today? Drawing the attention of some of her friends. Izuku. Drinking the juice, I don't know, maybe go to bed earlier. He said it without interest. Melissa. What, then you won't be around to celebrate Christmas? Izuku. Christmas. I don't celebrate it anymore. Melissa. Huh. Why? She said curiously. Izuku. I think it's kind of silly to give each other gifts that you probably won't use. Besides, I don't like celebrating it. Anyway, if anyone looks for me, tell them they'll be sorry. Leaving the kitchen. Melissa. Wow, I see he hates Christmas. Izumi. It's all my fault. She whispered, remembering how every Christmas the freckled boy received much worse torture, making her sad. This wasn't seen by anyone except for a bi-colored girl, so she left. She saw the freckled boy take the elevator to the roof. She wanted to see what he was doing, so she followed him, waited for the elevator, and went up to the rooftop. She saw the freckled boy watching the snowfall. It was starting to get a little colder, and she couldn't help but sneeze, attracting the freckled boy's attention. Izuku. What are you doing here? Approaching the bi-colored girl. Shota. I just wanted some fresh air. Making an excuse. Izuku. And you came out without putting on a coat. Seeing that he was only wearing a shirt. Shota. Huh. Blushing when she saw that it was true. Then she saw Izuku take off his coat and give it to her. Shota. What? Izuku. Don't worry, the cold doesn't affect me anyway. I recommend you don't stay out too long. Taking flight and heading to the city. 5 hours passed and everyone had finished their tasks. They all went out to buy a gift for their friend. Another 3 hours passed and some had their gifts and returned while others continued their search. Izuku didn't pay them any attention as he watched his classmates and other people rushing from one place to another. Izuku. I think it's a last-minute purchase. Seeing how crowded the stores were. He continued walking and found himself in the center of the mall with a Santa Claus and a line of children with their parents wanting to sit on his lap. An image flashed through his mind of himself and his sister as children, sitting on Santa's lap. A small smile formed on his face as he remembered those times and he continued on his way. He hadn't noticed when his sister had seen him like this. Looking at him and also remembering, she decided to follow her brother and saw him stop at a store, looking at something. He stayed there for a few minutes and then left. His sister went and she saw a black outfit consisting of black leather boots, a bodysuit with spikes on the shoulders, black leather gloves, and black pants. She saw the price and was surprised. She didn't have that much money. I'm Skip. It was already night and everyone was gathered around the table except for the freckled boy. Everyone had a good time, even Kitsumi, who didn't insult anyone or cause any explosions. It was time to give gifts. They started exchanging presents while Izuku was in his room trying to sleep, but he couldn't because he could hear them singing Christmas carols. He was trying hard not to go downstairs and kill everyone. Just then, someone knocked on his door. Izuku. Damn it, who could that be now? He got up and went to the door, and when he opened it, he was surprised to see his sister. What do you want here, Izumi? Izumi. Well, you weren't with us for the gift-giving or dinner, so I decided to save your share. She showed him a tray with each dessert they had prepared and also a piece of turkey, which was the leg. Izuku. Surprised, thank you. If you want, come in. He stepped aside so his sister could enter and put the things on a table. Izuku. Turkey leg. He took it and bit into it. Izumi. Yeah, I knew it was your favorite. She remembered how her brother used to fight with their father over the leg. I know you're not going to forgive me, and I know I deserve it. She lowered her head. But I want you to know that I'm truly sorry for how I treated you. Please forgive me. But she didn't receive a response. I'm sorry. She stood up. Izumi. I know giving gifts is silly, so I guess I'm silly too. She handed him a box. Merry Christmas, big brother. She left the room. Izuku stared at the box. Sonic.exe. Aren't you going to open it? Aren't you curious? Tempting him. Izuku. TSK, I bet it's nothing. Opening the box and surprised, it was the clothes he had seen before. But then he took out the clothes and a letter and a photo fell out. He took the letter and read it. I hope you like it. I know I did horrible things in the past. I hope that someday we can be close again. I don't want to lose you like I lost mom and dad. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but at least I'll try to earn your trust and start over. I hope you liked it. I had to sell some of my Almight figures, Well, Merry Christmas. Sincerely, Izumi Midoriya. The freckled boy was in shock. Then he took the photo and was surprised. It was him with his sister sitting on Santa Claus's lap. Everyone had already gone to sleep. Then, in Izumi's room, he heard a knocking sound. So he got up and opened his door. He didn't find anything, but when he looked down, he found a box. He put it inside and started to open it. He was surprised. Upon seeing a necklace containing a jade stone, she also found the figurine she had sold, a beautiful dress, and a letter that read, Merry Christmas, Izuku. She couldn't help but shed a few tears. Her brother had sent her a gift. Izumi. Merry Christmas, Izuku, looking at the moon. The freckled boy was on top of a building. Izuku. Merry Christmas. The end. I hope you enjoyed this special. Chapter 13. Izuku had arrived at the classroom where everything was normal until Izawa arrived. Izawa. Alright, today I'll be bringing some new students, although you already know them. Giving the signal, the big three entered. Everyone greeted them, and they returned the greeting. Then they saw the green-haired boy and a light blue-haired girl approached him. Hello, my name is Najire Hado. What's yours? Why do you have ears? Are you new? What quirk do you have? Invading his personal space, but the freckled boy covered her mouth. Izuku. One question at a time, sweetheart. Now invading her personal space. 1. My name is Izuku. 2. I have ears as part of my quirk. 3. Yes, I'm new. Getting closer, making the light blue-haired girl back away, and lastly, it's a secret. Cornering her against the wall, she blushed, and some girls didn't know why, but wanted to separate them. Izawa. Ahem. Separating the two, well, today they're here to see your progress. Go downstairs, you'll have a fight. Nice to meet you, my name is Mirio Tagada, and that's my friend over there, his name is Tamaki Amajiki. You look strong. Izuku. Izuku. If you prove yourself worthy to fight you, Mirio. He left, heading downstairs, but on the way, his sister approached him. Izumi. And why did you stand so close to him? A little jealous, but she hid it. Izuku. I don't have to give you any explanations. He said it disinterestedly, moving away from his sister. Once everyone was downstairs and heading to where the fight would take place, the freckled boy went to sit down. This left the big three somewhat confused, but they didn't pay much attention to it. The class then received a beating from the big three. Then they heard some applause and saw that it was coming from the green-haired boy. Izuku. Bravo. That was incredible. Mirio. Well, I think you owe me a fight. Izuku. Of course, I always keep my word. Then he stepped aside, dodging a tentacle from the black-haired boy. Izuku. Wow, you attack fast, but let me give you some advice. With a speed no one saw, he appeared in front of him and delivered a knee strike to his stomach that knocked the wind out of him, causing him to fall to the ground. Don't attack without knowing your opponent first. Mirio. What? Surprised, as was everyone else. No one saw him move. It was in the blink of an eye. Vigilante launched her energy blasts, which the freckled boy dodged. Then. Izuku appeared behind her. You know, I don't like hurting girls, so this will be quick. He delivered an axe kick that slammed her to the ground, knocking her out of the fight. Mirio. Smiling, you are strong, then I'll go all out. He launched himself at the freckled boy. Izuku. Don't disappoint me. He caught the blonde's fist, but received a kick. He tried to block, but the kick passed right through him, hitting him in the face and sending him flying. The green-haired boy quickly recovered and threw himself towards him, where they exchanged blows, creating a cloud of dust. Mirio was winning, dodging some blows, though not all. The spectators were surprised to see such a fight, even the blonde's friends who had managed to recover. Then they saw Mirio land a punch that sent him crashing into some rubble. Mirio. That was fun. He had some scratches and bruises, but then he saw that he disappeared. Then he heard a laugh, so he turned around, as did everyone else, and they saw Izuku still lying in his place. Everyone's eyes widened, their mouths dropping open. Izuku. Wow, I think my clone managed to give you a fight. Mirio. See clone. Surprised. Izuku. That's right, although I used very little of my energy to create it. Standing up. Izuku. Now show me what you can do with the original. Giving a smile that startled the blonde boy a little. Thus the fight began again, where Mirio couldn't land a single blow while Izuku did, leaving him on his knees. Izuku. Didn't you want a good fight? In a mocking tone. Mirio. For the first time I had fun, fainting from exhaustion. Nobody could believe it, the green-haired boy defeated the big three like it was nothing, and the worst part is that he's just playing around, so he retreated but was stopped by the light blue-haired girl. Najire. That was incredible, how did you do that? Izuku. I just used a little of my power, disappearing. The freckled boy was walking through the hallways until he met the ash-blonde girl who tried to hit him, but Izuku stopped her. Izuku. And what do you want now? Katsumi. TSK, you're a damn Deku, but she felt a sharp pain in her wrist, and it was because the green-haired boy was pressing on it. Izuku. Look Katsumi, the boy you knew is no longer here, he died, grabbing her by the neck. Izuku. Next time you do that, you regret it. He whispered in her ear, making her let out a small moan, then released her and continued on his way. He went to his room where he fed his friend, and as he lay down to sleep, he entered his sister's dream. He liked seeing her panicked face and hearing her pleas while she was being penetrated. He wasn't going to stop until he saw his sister lose her mind and do anything for him without question. But this time, he thought, why not punish his childhood friend too? So he entered the ash-blonde girl's dream, in which she dreamt she was the #1 hero. But then she saw her city being destroyed as a man walked toward her. Katsumi tried to create an explosion, but it didn't work. Then she unfastened the safety on her gloves, creating a huge explosion, but the man didn't seem affected. She was terrified to see that much of his face and body had his organs exposed, but she saw him regenerate. Katsumi tried to escape, but when she turned around, she was grabbed by the neck. She saw the person. Katsumi. Deku. Izuku. Calm down, this will be quickly, while destroying the ash-blonde girl's clothes, scaring her. Katsumi. Deku and don't do it, if you do I'll kill you, with some tears. Izuku. You know I like seeing that panicked face, licking her cheek, but this is only the beginning. Hap 14. Katsumi was terrified, trying to break free from Izuku's grip, but it was useless. She couldn't hold back any longer and a few tears fell, much to the green-haired boy's pleasure. He didn't care in the slightest how the ash blonde felt, so he began to slowly tear her clothes and start raping her. The girl's pleas were music to his ears. Now he was the one in control. The ash blonde girl didn't know how much time had passed, but every effort she made was in vain. She wanted to kill the green-haired boy, but every time she tried, chains prevented her. She wanted to be dead until she saw everything around her disappear, even Izuku. In the real world, Kitsumi woke up hysterically, breathing heavily. She realized she was in her room. She went to a mirror and saw that she was crying. Kitsumi. It was just a dream, she said to herself, but she wasn't so sure since it felt so real. She decided to go talk to Izumi about it, but her pride wouldn't let her, so she was going to talk to Izuku would get the answer out of her, even if she had to blow up a large part of the building. She changed and went to get some breakfast. On her way to class, she saw the freckled boy walking. She approached him, but in a reflection, she saw a humanoid with sharp teeth and eyes that could see your soul. What scared her was seeing that thing looking at her, making a greeting gesture. She rubbed her eyes, thinking it was from lack of sleep, and when she looked at the freckled boy again, she saw his reflection. He was entering the classroom, where everything seemed normal. She waited for the moment when the freckled boy was alone, so she followed him from a distance. She saw him training kendo and, to her surprise, Shota, or as she knew her, the half and half. She was somewhat annoyed since the freckled boy wasn't alone. One of her classmates or another girl would approach him. But she saw that the freckled boy went to the rooftop, so she followed him, and finally, he was alone. So she approached him, but the freckled boy spoke to her. Izuku? Why have you been following me all day? Kitsumi. How did you know? Surprised. Izuku. I know a lot of things. Now tell me what you want, I don't have time. Kitsumi. Was my dream real? Making the freckled boy raise an eyebrow. Izuku. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, sometimes the human mind can play tricks on us, or it could be your conscience. Kitsumi. Listen to me, Deku, I saw it, and you better tell me the truth. Angrily as she approached him. At that moment, Sonic.exe spoke to him mentally. Sonic.exe. Hahaha, it seems she's not as stupid as your sister. Izuku. Well, that's new. Sonic.exe. And what are you going to do? Do you plan to kill her? Smiling. Izuku. I have no better plans for her. Smiling. Outside of his mind, the ash blonde girl was in front of him. Kitsumi. Now answer me. Izuku. Maybe yes, maybe no, who knows. But he dodged a punch, then caught her arm and pulled her close, taking her chin in his hand. Izuku. Well, Kitsumi, I see you're not as stupid as I thought. Receiving an insult, I'll tell you this. If the dream you had was real, leaving the ash blonde girl in shock. Izuku. That face again. Smiling. Kitsumi. Emura, but the green-haired boy kissed her. She resisted, but then returned the kiss. She didn't know why, but she liked the new Izuku, so dominant and not afraid of anything. But then she reacted and pushed him away. Kitsumi. Why did you do that? With a slight blush. Izuku. Rather, the question is why did you return the kiss? Kitsumi. Well, don't change the damn subject. Izuku. When you answer my question, I'll answer yours. Then, in a quick movement, he gave her a slap on the butt that made the ash blonde girl let out a small scream, and when she turned to kill him, he was gone. Meanwhile, the freckled boy was walking when he saw someone at his door. It was the purple-haired girl. When she arrived, she greeted him. Kyoka. Oh, hi Izuku. Izuku. Kyoka, what can I do for you? Kyoka. Well, I was wondering if I could borrow your guitar. Mine broke. Izuku. Sure. Opening his door, Cerberus pounced on Kyoka. Izuku. I think he likes you. Seeing his friend licking his face. Kyoka. It seems so. Paring his belly. Izuku. Well, wait here, I'll get the guitar. He went. To get the guitar and handed it to Kyoka. Kyoka. Thanks. Taking the guitar. Izuku. You're welcome. Leaving, but was stopped. Kyoka. Why are you so curt with people? Curious. Izuku. It's better to be alone. Kyoka. You know, nobody has to be alone. Going to the door, but saw Cerberus stop her. Izuku. If you want, you can take him to your room. Seeing the puppy stop her. Kyoka. But what if they see him? Izuku. Don't worry, I've been training him. You just have to tell him to hide, and he'll do it. Kyoka. Okay. So, picking up the puppy and leaving the room. Izuku lay down on his bed and appeared where Sonic.exe was apparently waiting for him. Sonic.exe. What brings you here? Izuku. I want to fulfill my purpose. I want a new world. Sonic.exe. You know you'll kill half of the human race, right? Izuku. It's a price I'm willing to pay. Sonic.exe. Good. Smiling, then I'll tell you what you have to do. Izuku. Okay. Sitting on the floor. Sonic.exe. You will have to conjure an ancient chant, but you must do so during the blood moon. Izuku. During the blood moon. Confused. Sonic.exe. That's right. That will be the only day the planets align and you will gain unimaginable power. You will cause the end of the world and only the worthy will survive. Izuku. And what do I have to do? Sonic.exe. You have to go to the point closest to the sky and recite this. A book appears and hands it to him. Izuku takes it and sees the incantation. Just reading a few words makes him feel weak, so he closes the book. Sonic.exe. The book consumes a lot of your energy. Izuku. I understand. He gets up and starts to disappear, but Sonic stops him. Sonic.exe. By the way, you can't make a mistake anywhere. Izuku. Huh. Why? Sonic.exe. Since it's a very ancient chant and consumes a lot of your energy, if you make a mistake, you will cause your death. It doesn't matter if you're immortal. You will die anyway. Izuku. I understand, disappearing. Chapter 15. Izuku was sleeping in his room. It was Saturday, so he decided to sleep in, but he hadn't counted on the fact that he had promised to train kendo. Shota and the girls had been knocking on the door for a while. Kendo? It seems he's not here. Shota. You're right. He said it in his usual tone. They were about to leave when they heard a noise, so they stopped. The two looked at each other and decided to go in. The bi-colored girl froze the door, making it easier for them to break it down. When they entered, they didn't see anything but some things scattered around. They went to where the green-haired boy was and saw him asleep. They also noticed that he had knocked some things over. When he moved, the girls glared at him, annoyed. So Shota used her ice to freeze him. The freckled boy woke up and broke the ice. Izuku. It's cold. Getting up and looking at the girls, what are you doing here? Letting out a yawn. Kendo. You were supposed to train us today. With a twitch in her eye. Izuku. Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, we'll start tomorrow. Rest up today. Turning back to lying down on his bed, covering himself up, don't forget to fix my door. Kendo. Oh yeah, we had to get up early. A little annoyed. Izuku. Sorry, it won't happen again. Now let me sleep. But he didn't finish because Kendo enlarged her hand and dragged him out of her room. Kendo. No, now you'd better train us. With a threatening look, as did the bi-colored girl. Izuku. I'd have to start charging. He said it in a whisper. Izuku. Fine. Snapping his fingers, changing his clothes, let's train you, but since you woke me up, your training will be worse. With a sadistic smile that scared the girls a little. The girls were training with rocks and feet tied to their hands and feet while doing push-ups. They were living through hell. Every time they made a mistake, the freckled boy added more weight. Izuku was watching them while sitting in a chair drinking lemonade while holding the book that Sonic.exe had given him. Izuku. Okay, get some rest. The rocks disappeared and they collapsed from exhaustion. Izuku. You were good. Standing up and handing them some lemonade, you've made a lot of progress. Kendo. Ah really? Do you think so? Regaining her strength. Izuku. That's right. For now, go take a bath and have the rest of the day off. Leaving, he headed towards his room, but on the way he ran into a light blue-haired girl. Najire. Oh, hi Izuku. Waiting at him. Izuku. Hi Najire, right. In a questioning tone. Najire. Yes, and tell me, do you have anything to do today? Izuku. No, why do you ask? Najire. Nothing. Hey, do you want to go to the mall? Tamaki and Miria will be there too. Smiling. Izuku. Okay. He said it without interest. Najire. Great, I'll see you at 3 at the entrance. Leaving. So the freckled boy went to his room where he changed and decided to go see Cerberus. When he arrived at the purple-haired girl's room, he heard voices knocking on the door. When he opened it, some girls from his class were playing with the puppy. Izuku. What a day. Before he could finish speaking, he was pulled inside. Izuku. What's all this? Izumi. Why didn't you tell me you had a pet? At that moment, the freckled boy saw the purple-haired girl, who became nervous. Kyoka. You see, what happened was. Flashback. When Kyoka arrived at her room with Cerberus, she started playing the guitar while the puppy played with its tail. She had forgotten to lock the door. Then Izumi entered. Izumi. Kyoka-chan, could you lend me, looking at the puppy, Kaya, it's so cute. Kyoka. Izumi, surprised and scared, how did you get in? Izumi. I'm sorry, your door was open, but I wanted to see if you'd lend me some music. Well, petting the puppy, but no, it's forbidden to have pets. Kyoka. Kyoka. It's not mine. Izumi. Oh no, then whose is it? Kyoka. Izuku's. surprising the green-haired girl. But then they hear the door open, revealing a brunette and a retard. Melissa Uraraka. Kaya, how cute. Then some girls entered. Hyoka. I have to remember to lock it. Seeing her classmates playing with the puppy. Then flashback. Hyoka. And that's what happened. Somewhat embarrassed. Izuku. I understand. Well, don't tell the rodent about Cerberus. Receiving a nod from everyone, well, I also came to ask you a favor. Hyoka. Sure. Izuku. Could you take care of Cerberus while I'm gone? Hyoka. Of course. Izuku. Okay, well, I'm going. Leaving, followed by a green-haired girl. Izumi. Izuku, wait. Making him stop. Izuku. What do you want? Izumi. I wanted to ask if we could start from scratch. With a head bowed. Izuku. Seeing his sister like this, letting out a sigh, okay. Izumi. Really? Izuku. Yes. Starting to walk, well, now I have to go. Izumi was happy she could get her brother back, but what she didn't know was that a new feeling was growing inside her. The freckled boy arrived at the entrance where the big three were waiting for him. The three of them went to the mall where they spent time going into some stores. The only ones talking were Mirio and Najire. Izuku and Tamaki remained silent or only spoke to answer the others. Little by little, Mirio and Tamaki said their goodbyes, leaving Izuku and Najire alone. Izuku invited her to the movies. The two got to know each other a little since Najire kept asking him questions. When they left the mall, they realized it was already night, so they decided to go back. On the way, they talked about trivial things when some boys stopped them and started bothering the light blue-haired girl. Izuku told them he wanted to talk to them, so they went to an alley where only some screams were heard. When the light blue-haired girl approached, Izuku came out and a few drops of blood fell from his hand. Izuku cleaned up. Well, what do you say we go? Najire. Sure. Then Izuku started to fly. Najire. Wow, you fly too. Izuku. That's right. Now let's go back to the academy. I don't want to receive any gifts. It would be a problem. So the two headed towards the academy. Chapter 16. Upon arriving at the academy, they said their goodbyes. Izuku went to Kyoka's room and thanked her for taking care of Cerberus. Then he went to his own room and found his sister. Izuku. Izumi, what are you doing here? A little surprised. Izumi. Well, I just wanted to play with you. Showing him a board game. Izuku. Is that it? Izumi. We used to play this game when we were kids. Remembering those times. Izuku. But it's for kids, I don't think it'll be the same. He saw his sister get a little sad and sighed. Izuku. I'll go prepare the snacks. He left and Izumi was happy. She started preparing everything. After a few minutes, Izuku returned with some plates of snacks. The two of them started playing. They both had a good time chatting and laughing. Then his sister asked him something. Izumi. Izuku. Izumi. Yes. Izumi. Do you like any girl? Izuku. No, surprising his sister, who didn't know why but felt happy. Why do you ask? Izumi. And nothing, it's better if I go, it's getting late. She left, leaving Izuku confused. The next day, Izuku woke up early to go to school. He put on his training clothes, which consisted of a short-sleeved shirt and athletic shorts. He went for a run with Cerberus. The two ran until they reached a beach where they found a reed training and a symbol of peace. When they saw the freckled boy, they were startled. Izuku. Wow, who would have thought the symbol of peace would be a skeleton? Almight. Young Izuku, scared, what are you doing here? Izuku. I was just passing by. And what are you doing here? Melissa. Well, you see, trying to find an excuse, but then she saw her uncle sigh. Almight. Young Izuku, I know I can count on you, so I'll tell you. So, after telling him everything, Izuku was a little surprised, but then he understood. Izuku. Okay, I won't tell anyone. Almight. Thank you, young Izuku. Well, I have to go. And so he left. Melissa. Excuse me, Izuku, could you have a fight with me? Izuku. And may I know why? Melissa. It's just that I want to get stronger so I can help others. Izuku. Okay, but we can't fight here. I don't want any trouble with the heroes. Melissa. Okay, where are we going? Izuku. To my dimension. And so the freckled boy took Melissa by the waist and entered a portal, then let go of her. Melissa. Where are we? Seeing the horrible place. Izuku. This is a dimension I created, but if you want to feel a little more comfortable, he snapped his fingers and everything transformed into a beautiful landscape full of trees and very beautiful flowers. Melissa. It's beautiful. Izuku. Okay, how much power can you control? Melissa. I can control 90%. Izuku. Okay, then try to hit me with 90%. Melissa. Are you sure? Izuku. Yes, besides, I'm immortal, so don't hold back. Come at me with everything. Melissa. Fine. So Melissa activated her quirk, yellow lightning shooting out at incredible speed. She threw a punch at the freckled boy, but it was stopped. Izuku. Come on, this is just the beginning. So, stepping back a little, they looked at each other with a challenging gaze. Then, she lunged at Melissa, trying to land a blow, but Izuku simply dodged or blocked. He also landed some blows that made the blonde retreat. They continued like this for several hours until Melissa collapsed to the ground, exhausted. Her breathing was ragged. Izuku approached her and extended his hand. Izuku. You did well. Melissa. Thanks. Taking the freckled boy's hand, but as she stood up, she fell, though her body didn't touch the ground. Seeing that the green-haired boy had held her in a princess hold, she blushed. Izuku. Well, it's best if we return to the academy. So, opening a portal, she appeared at the beach, the two headed towards UA, but along the way people stared at them and made comments like what a cute couple, among other things. Melissa blushed, while Izuku pretended not to hear. When they arrived, everyone saw the freckled boy carrying her, making some girls jealous. Izuku left her outside his room, saying goodbye to Melissa. The freckled boy went to his room, but found the ash blonde girl at his door. He smiled maliciously, but then acted normally. Izuku. So, what do you want now, Kitsumi? Kitsumi. TSK, nothing. I just wanted to ask if you could lend me your math homework. Izuku. Huh. Why me? Why don't you ask my sister? Kitsumi. Because she hasn't done it yet. So, are you going to lend it to me or not? Izuku. I don't know, you know. Teasing the ash blonde girl. Kitsumi. Damn it. But she couldn't finish because the freckled boy pinned her against the wall. Her eyes turned black and only red was visible. At that moment, Sonic.exe had taken over. Control over the freckled boy's body. Kitsumi. What do you think you're doing? Angry. Izuku. You know, I think my last visit wasn't clear to you, was it? Getting closer to her face, making her blush even more. Well, I guess you still haven't learned your lesson. Breathing in her ear. At that moment, Kitsumi managed to break free from the grip but fell to the floor. Izuku. By the way, you still haven't answered my question. Opening her door. Kitsumi. I don't know what you're talking about. Angry. Izuku. Oh no, then I'll have to remind you. He grabbed the ash blonde girl again and pulled her into his room. Before she knew it, he kissed her. Kitsumi tried to pull away, but the freckled boy intensified the action. Little by little, she let herself go and kissed him back. They stayed like that for a while, but separated for lack of air. Izuku. You remember now. He noticed she had a slight blush and her gaze was downcast, so he took her chin and lifted it, so she looked at him. Izuku. Cat got your tongue? He smiled, but saw she didn't say anything. If that's what you want. He kissed her again, but she returned the kiss with more intensity. Sonic.exe knew the blonde was getting excited, so, smiling, after a few minutes they separated. He gave her what she wanted and Kitsumi left. Izuku took control of her body again. Hap 17. Izuku. What the hell did you just do? Seeing himself in a mirror, revealing Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe. I was just speeding things up, you know. Shrugging. Izuku. TSK, that's why I never let you take control of my body. He went to sleep. The next morning, the teachers informed them that they would be going on patrol. It was like the original story of Irie's rescue, only instead of Izuku, it was Izumi. Everything was going well in the operation, except that Overall was much stronger, so everyone was having problems. Overall was going to hit the green-haired girl who stood in front to protect Irie. The blow was meant to kill her, so she just closed her eyes, but the blow didn't land. Opening them, she found her brother who had stopped the attack. Izumi. Ani-chan. Seeing her brother. Izuku. Get out of here. Deflecting another attack, he approached Irie and took her in his arms. I'll take care of it. Izumi. No, he's not, but she saw a death stare on Izuku's face, so she could only leave with the other heroes. Overall. And who are you? Angrily. Izuku. The only one who can kill my sister is me, appearing in front of him. Now I'll have some fun with you, giving him a punch that sent him flying, breaking through the roof and landing on the rooftop. Izuku. So you're the little girl they came to rescue. Looking at the white-haired girl. Irie. Why yes. Izuku. Good, approaching the edge, drawing the attention of all the heroes. Let me take care of her, throwing her down. Little Irie screamed, thinking she would die, but was saved by Aizawa's bandages. Aizawa. Are you alright? Receiving a nod from her. At that moment, everyone saw the freckled boy fly away. Everyone watched as the battle unfolded, especially Irie and Izumi. Overall. Damn you. When I kill you, your companions will be next. Izuku. Smiling, macabrely, I want to see that. So Izuku stopped the attacks, surprising the Yakuza and annoying him. Everyone saw how Izuku was pierced by his fist, leaving him shocked. Overall. Hahaha, I told you so. But he froze when he saw the freckled boy approaching him. Even when his fist pierced him, the green-haired boy reached the front of him, and that's when he saw his eyes, those eyes that reflected death and destruction. Overall. I impossible you should be dead. Izuku. Approaching his ear, you can't kill someone who's already dead. He said it in a tone that would make anyone tremble. Izuku. Seeing the Yakuza's terrified face, making his smile grow, giving him a more macabre appearance, my turn. Thus, he pulled out his still-beating heart. The freckled boy crushed it, leaving in a pool of blood. Little by little, Overall's body began to deteriorate to the point of becoming dust. Izuku. I thought this time would be fun. So the freckled boy returned to where the others had come to help him. Izumi. Izuku, are you okay? Worried about her brother. Izuku. Yeah, it's nothing. At that moment, everyone saw the hole he had closed. Izawa. You can't throw the girl away. Angrily. Izuku. TSK, but you caught her, right? Melissa. How did you know we were here? Izuku. The rat told me. At that moment, the rodent appeared. Nezu. Excuse me, young man, do you have something against rodents? With a vein throbbing on his forehead. Izuku. Well, I've done my job. Leaving, but he felt someone grab his shirt, stopping him in his tracks. Turning around, he found himself face to face with a little white-haired girl. Izuku. Iri. TT, thank you for saving me. She said shyly. Izuku. You're welcome. He placed his hand on the little girl's wounds and a black liquid enveloped him. The liquid spread to the areas where she had wounds, causing the little girl to let out some whimpers of pain. After finishing the liquid, she returned to Izuku. Izuku. Better. Iri. Huh. Taking off the bandages, she saw that all her wounds were gone, surprised, but when she looked back at Izuku, he was gone. So they took Iri and the injured to the hospital, while elsewhere, Izuku, the green-haired boy, was sitting drinking some coffee. He was so calm while in his mind he was talking to Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe. Why did you save your sister? A little annoyed. Izuku. I don't know. He said it without interest. Sonic.exe. You had the perfect opportunity to get rid of her. Izuku. I know, but I feel like I could put her to better use. Sonic.exe. Seeing Izuku's expression, I see you have big plans. Izuku. That's right. Well, I'd better go. So, returning to reality, he paid for the coffee and headed towards UA. He passed through an alley and saw some men. He found it a little strange that a redite in a school uniform was surrounding her, so he decided to observe. He saw the girl murder each of the men. One tried to escape, but Izuku grabbed him and slammed him against the wall, causing his head to explode. This caught the blonde's attention. Hey, and who are you? She asked, licking the blood from her knife. Izuku replied, nobody matters. He dodged a lunge from the blonde, picking her up and pinning her against the wall. Be faster next time, Izuku said, extending her claws. Are you going to kill me? She asked, smiling. No, Izuku said simply, throwing her aside. I don't have time to waste. He walked away. My name is Toga Himiko. Izuku said, see you later Toga. He disappeared. Chapter 18. The freckled boy had arrived at UA where his classmates were gathered. Upon seeing him, they approached him and bombarded him with questions, to which he answered some. He was then called over by the principal. Izuku. What's going on? Looking at the principal. Nezu. Young Izuku, I wanted to thank you for what you did today. I wanted to ask you a favor. Izuku. A favor? A little curious. Nezu. That's right. It's about the girl you saved. Izuku. What do you want me to do? Nezu. Her quirk is called Rewind. It's a unique quirk, and if it's not controlled, it can be very dangerous. There might also be other people who want her just for her quirk. Izuku. Get straight to the point, principal. Making the aforementioned sigh. Nezu. I want Iri under your care. Surprising Izuku with a question. Izuku. Why me? Why not my sister or Melissa? Nezu. It's because I know you're hiding a power that no one has seen, and I know you would be capable of protecting her. Izuku. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not a damn babysitter. He stood up and went to the door, but was stopped by the mouse. Nezu. Wait, young man. If you agree to take care of her, you'll be paid. The freckled boy stopped. Izuku. You're going to pay me to take care of the girl? Receiving a nod from Nezu, who smiled, which scared the mouse a little. Izuku. And what day can I start, director? Nezu. Tomorrow. Izuku. Excellent. He left. Nezu. I don't think that was a good idea. Watching where the freckled boy left. Izuku went to his room, where everything was silent. Too quiet, or rather, the lights were off, but that wasn't a problem. The only light there was his red eyes shining. He turned on the lights, but was knocked over, falling to the floor. When he saw who it was, he realized it was his sister. Izuku. Izumi, what are you doing here? But he went blank when he saw how his sister, they kissed until they separated for lack of air. He saw lust and desire in his sister's eyes. Izumi. Brother, you don't know how much I love you. Izuku. Izumi, what's wrong with you? Pulling his sister away, but Sonic.exe spoke to him. Sonic.exe. Hey kid, this is great. If you manage to dominate her tonight, she'll be at your feet. Izuku. So it worked. Sonic.exe. That's right. Now go and do it. Sitting down and taking out a drink and popcorn, this will be fun. Izumi. Didn't you like it? With glassy eyes, I know this is wrong, she couldn't finish because Izuku kissed her while wearing his infamous smile. So he took her to the bed where the only sounds were moans of pleasure. The green-haired boy was happy that his sister had fallen for him. Now he could use her as a tool. The night passed filled with passion. As the sun rose, two green-haired boys could be seen in a bed. Izumi was asleep on Izuku's chest while he hugged her. When Izumi woke up and saw her brother, she remembered what she had done yesterday, blushing. But then fear overwhelmed her, so she got out of bed, grabbed her clothes, and quickly left the room. After a few minutes, Izuku woke up and saw that his sister wasn't there. He didn't think much of it. As long as everything went well, he didn't have to worry. He also wondered where Cerberus was, so he looked for him and found him asleep on the balcony. He picked him up and put him on his bed, then changed and left since he had to go see Eri today. As he left, he ran into Abara, who seemed sad. Approaching her. Izuku asked, "Are you okay?" Abara replied, "Yes, it's not nothing," while holding something in his hand. Izuku. "What are you carrying?" Curiously. Abara. "Oh, it's just that this little friend wasn't lucky, but now he's with a gentleman," showing him a bird that was dead, but had some bruises. Izuku. "Is that all?" Touching the bird, it became covered in a black liquid. He waited a few minutes, then Abara was surprised as the bird slowly began to get up until it was as if nothing had happened. Abara. It's a miracle." Izuku. "Well, goodbye." He started walking, watched by Abara who couldn't believe it. He had brought the dead bird back to life. Then he saw the bird fly and land on the freckled boy's shoulder. After a few minutes, he arrived at the hospital where the principal and Izawa were waiting for the green-haired boy. Nezu. "Young Izuku, I'm glad you're here. Well, we'd better go see the little one." Izuku. Approaching Izawa, "I bet you 20 the little girl hugged the principal like a plush toy." Izawa. "I accept the deal," shaking his hand. Upon entering the room, Nezu approached the little girl, who, upon touching him, found him very soft and hugged him. Izawa. TSK, taking out $20 and giving them to the green-haired boy. Izuku. Haha. After a few minutes, the little girl let go of the principal and he explained everything to her, which she accepted, albeit timidly. Nezu. "Good then, Izawa and I will go fill out the paperwork." With that, he left, leaving Izuku and Eri alone. She kept looking at him, which Izuku noticed. Izuku. "Is there a problem?" Seeing Eri, who looked startled. Eri. "And no," timidly. Izuku. "So your name is Eri, right?" Approaching the white-haired girl. Eri. "Why yes." Izuku. Seeing the little girl's torn and somewhat dirty clothes, "You know, you need something better." He snapped his fingers and the clothes she was wearing changed into something much nicer. A white dress with a butterfly holding her hair. Eri, seeing herself in the window's reflection, was surprised. Eri. It's beautiful." Izuku. "Here, put these on." He showed her some white shoes. Eri. "Why yes." Taking them and putting them on. At that moment, Nezu and Izawa entered, surprised to see Eri, but Izuku snapped them out of their thoughts. Izuku. "Well, we can go now." Nezu. "Oh of course." And so, they left the hospital with Eri. App 19. Upon arriving at UA, everyone welcomed Eri, which made her a little nervous since she hadn't interacted with many people. Nezu. "Alright, Eri, you'll sleep with Izuku." Izuku. "I hope this wasn't part of the deal." Nezu. "Sorry, but his room has the most space." Izuku. Sighing, "Fine, Eri, follow me." Eri. "Why yes." So the little girl followed him. When they arrived at his room, she saw that it was big and was startled to see Cerberus hiding behind the green-haired boy. Izuku. "He won't hurt you." Stroking her head. Eri. It's fine." Coming out from behind him, Cerberus approached her. A little scared, she extended her hand and he let her pet him. Eri. He's soft. Stroking him, Cerberus started licking her face, and for the first time, Eri laughed again. Izuku. You can sleep in my bed. Eri. And you where will? Izuku sleep. Izuku. I'll sleep on the sofa, it's very big. Eri. Oh okay. Night had arrived, and with it a storm in which lightning struck, frightening the little girl who ran to Izuku. The little girl didn't want to wake him, thinking he would be angry with her, so she made space on the sofa and got in, hugging the freckled boy where she felt safe, and little by little she fell asleep. The next morning, the freckled boy woke up and saw that Eri was hugging him, so he assumed that it must have happened yesterday while he was asleep. So he got up without waking the little girl, went down to the living room, and got some cereal with milk to give to Eri. When he got there, he saw that Eri had already gotten up and was looking for him, so he gave her the cereal and milk. Izuku. Eri, you have to take a bath. Eri. Okay, sir. Izuku. Just call me Izuku. Eri. Oh okay, Izuku. But then Izuku was thinking and had no idea how to bathe her. Then there was a knock at the door. Opening the door, they found Momo, Melissa, Shota, and Kyoka inside. Before the girls could say anything, Izuku spoke. Izuku. Girls, can I ask you a favor? Melissa. Sure. Izuku. Can you bathe Eri? I don't know how to bathe her. The girls agreed and took Eri to the girls' shower where they bathed her. Eri started playing with the bubbles. Eri. Why is Izuku so quiet? She asked the girls, which took them by surprise. Melissa. Well, he had a very hard life. Eri. A very hard life. Not understanding what Melissa said. After a few minutes, they finished bathing her. Momo made her some clothes, they dressed her, and left. Meanwhile, Izuku was in the living room when a girl with ash blonde hair entered. Tatsumi. What are you doing here? Izuku. I'm waiting for Eri. I asked the girls if they could give her a bath. Tatsumi. You're talking about the brat. Receiving a nod from the freckled boy, by the way, do you know what's wrong with Izumi? She's been acting weird lately. Izuku. I don't know, she hasn't told me anything. Lying. Tatsumi. Whatever. Leaving. Izuku. She's hard to win over. Telling Sonic.exe. Sonic.exe. I could help you, kid, since you don't have any experience with girls. Izuku. Shut up. A little angry. So the girls arrived with Eri. Izuku thanked them and took Eri to her room. Then he saw his sister. Izuku. Eri, come in. I'll be there in a moment. The little girl entered the room. Izuku. Is everything alright? Izumi. Why yes, I have something to do. But Izuku took her hand. Izuku. Izumi, you can't lie to me. It's obvious something's wrong. Izumi. And nothing. Trying to pull away. Izuku. That's why we did, whispering in her ear, making her blush. Izuku. Okay, letting go of her, then we'll pretend that never happened. He then went into his room, leaving the green-haired girl deep in thought. Sonic.exe. Hahaha, it seems it didn't work, with a mocking smile. Izuku. TSK. Sonic.exe. How about you leave the girls to me and you do the rest? Izuku. I don't know. Sonic.exe. I promise I won't do anything bad, smiling. Izuku. Fine, you'll take care of that. Sonic.exe. Okay. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Opening it, he saw it was Momo. Momo. Izuku, I wanted to give you this, handing him a bag. Izuku. And this? Momo. I made clothes for Eri. I hope you don't mind, a little flushed. Izuku. No, but why don't you give them to her yourself? Stepping aside, showing Eri who was playing with the puppy. Momo. Oh okay. Entering, the black-haired girl approached Eri. Momo. Hi Eri. Eri. Hi. Momo. I brought you a present. Showing her the clothes. Eri. They're F for me. Taking the bag. Momo. Yes. Smiling. Eri. Thank you. Hugging her, the dark-haired girl returned the hug. Momo. Well, I have to go. Separating from the hug. Izuku. Could you watch Eri tonight? Momo. Sure, but where are you going? Izuku. I have some things to take care of. Momo. Okay. Leaving. Izuku. Well, Eri, do you want to go to the park? Eri. Yes. So Izuku went to the park with Eri and Cerberus, where Eri threw the ball for Cerberus to catch. Wow, I thought I'd never see you again. Izuku. You. That's right. Sitting next to the green-haired boy, I see she can fetch the ball now. Izuku. That's right. You. And is the little girl a relative of yours? Izuku. I'm not just taking care of her. You. So tell me, Izuku, what have you been up to these past few days? Izuku. I've been helping the new generation. You. By the way, I heard you did a rescue and defeated a Yakuza. Izuku. Wow, so gossip travels fast. Making the Redeed laugh. You. He, and tell me, what's the little one's name? Izuku. Eri, her name is Eri. So the two chatted. Izuku invited her for ice cream, which she accepted. They went to buy ice cream. Eri didn't know which flavor to choose. There were so many, so Izuku asked her for one of each flavor. The three of them were having fun visiting some places, but they didn't realize that when they visited a coffee shop, Izumi passed by and saw them. She didn't know why, but she felt anger and sadness. Hap 20. Anger at seeing her brother with another woman and sadness remembering what Izuku had told her. Izuku? Then we'll pretend it never happened. Those words repeated themselves over and over in her mind. Then she saw them leave. Izumi hid behind a post. You. Thanks for the ice cream, Izuku. Izuku. It was nothing. He gave her a smile that made her blush. At that moment, Sonic.exe decided to take control. Izuku. I'd like to see you again. He took her hand and kissed it, making her blush. You. I'd love that. Izuku. See you later. He kissed her cheek and took Yuri's hand, leaving for UA. The girl just watched him go, still blushing. Izumi, who saw everything, left, hurt by what she saw. When they arrived at UA, they went to their room, and Eri fell asleep. Cerberus lay down next to her, and Eri hugged him. Then she heard there was a knock at the door. When he opened it, he found Momo. Izuku. Eri's sleeping. He let her in. Momo. Okay. Izuku. Thanks for agreeing to take care of her. If you need anything, just ask. Momo. Oh okay. So the green-haired boy left. He always went for walks at night since it was a little quieter, and besides, he could kill without being discovered. He felt like someone was following him, so he went into an alley where someone lunged at him with a knife. He put up his hand, which was pierced by the knife. Then he saw that it was the girl who had killed those guys. Toga. We meet again. She blushed as she pulled out her knife and licked the blood. Izuku. Hi Toga. He let out a fanboy squeal. Toga. You know, I'm your biggest fan. She moved closer to his face. I know every murder you've committed, every death you've caused. She became increasingly aroused. Izuku. Thanks, I guess. And tell me, what were you doing following me? Toga. Well, I thought you wanted to join the League of Villains so we could be together. Izuku. League of Villains. Confused. Toga. That's right, it's an organization that recruits villains and we can assassinate. Izuku. Tell me more about this league. So the Redeed told him everything and what her objective was. Izuku. Interesting. Toga. So you want to join? Izuku. No. Making the girl sad. Toga, do you want to help me? Toga. Really? Me helping my idol? With hearts in her eyes. Izuku. Ahem. Somewhat awkward, that's right. I want you to be my infiltrator in the league and warn me of any moves they make. Toga. Thinking about what she said, okay, but how do I contact you? Izuku. With this. Giving her a cell phone. Izuku. It has my number saved. Making the blonde squeal, only call me if it's important. Toga. Okay, but what do I get out of it? Izuku's thoughts. Damn it, I didn't think of that before. Of all the people who have a fan, I got stuck with the crazy one. Out of his thoughts. Izuku. What do you want? Toga. I want a date with you. She said it bluntly. Izuku. Sighing, fine. Then he felt Toga kiss him while stabbing him again with a knife, separating for lack of air. Toga. Then I'll see you tomorrow at the park. Licking her knife, goodbye, Izu baby. With that, she left. Izuku. What have I gotten myself into? Sonic.exe. Hahaha, you're screwed. Laughing at the situation he was in. Izuku. Damn it. Hitting a wall, cracking it. The freckled boy decided to leave to calm down a bit. As the hours passed, Izuku decided to return to UA, where upon entering he found Kitsumi in the kitchen. She saw him and wondered where he had come from so late. The freckled boy simply ignored her. It was long, but he was stopped by Kitsumi. Kitsumi. What were you doing out so late? Izuku. I don't have to explain myself to you. Kitsumi. TSK, you damn nerd. Izuku. By the way, Kitsumi, calling her attention, you should close your neckline. The ash blonde girl saw that she was showing a little of her breasts, blushing and quickly covering herself, looking to see where the freckled boy was, but he was no longer there. Izuku went to his room where, upon entering, he found Momo asleep on the sofa, so he carried her princess style. The next day, the black-haired girl woke up and saw that she had overslept, so, blushing a little, she got up and saw Izuku asleep on the sofa, so he also woke up. Izuku. Good morning. Momo. Gee, good morning. Izuku. Thank you for taking care of Eri. Momo. No problem, staying calm. Izuku. You'd better go, the others haven't woken up yet. The black-haired girl, understanding as he left the room and went to his own, he didn't notice that a purple-haired girl had woken up and gone to get a glass of water, becoming a little jealous. After a few minutes, Eri also woke up, so Izuku took her to the dining room where everyone was. Izuku felt some stares, but didn't pay much attention to them. Then Izawa appeared, making everyone greet him. Izawa. The principal informed me that you're having a cultural festival. Iida. And what day is it going to be? Izawa. In 3 days, surprising everyone. Iida. So what are we going to do? We have nothing. Izawa. That's not my problem. Oh, and the festival thing will be a note, leaving. So everyone was sharing their ideas for the festival. The green-haired boy wasn't interested until he heard they were forming a band. Everyone agreed to the idea. The only question was who would be in it. Someone suggested Izuku, surprising him. Izuku. I'm not going to participate. Iida. Come on, Izuku, we don't have anyone else. So everyone begged the green-haired boy, making him agree. They all went to rehearse. Izuku went with Kyoka to practice and decide which song they would play. Tell me what song you want us to play. Chapter 21. They were practicing, and Kyoka was surprised by Izuku's voice. 3 days passed, and some were nervous. Then it was time to sing, so they went up on stage. There was a large crowd, and among them was an ash-blonde girl who was surprised to see the green-haired boy. Mitsuki. Izuku. Just then, the lights went out and they began to play. When he finished playing, everyone was surprised. Several shouts and applause erupted. Some girls blushed as they listened to the freckled boy sing. Once Izuku finished singing, he left. He wanted to walk and maybe try some food. As he stepped off the stage, he ran into Mitsuki. Mitsuki. Izuku, is that you? Izuku. Surprised, Aunt Mitsuki, what? But he didn't finish because the ash-haired girl hugged him. Mitsuki. I thought you were dead. Izuku. Imagining what his sister must have said, me too, but well, here I am. Mitsuki. Look how much you've grown. Trying to hold back tears. Just then, a green-haired girl and an ash-haired girl arrived. Kitsumi. What are you doing here, old lady? Mitsuki. Hitting her on the head, show some respect, brat. Then she saw Izumi, who became nervous. Mitsuki. Why didn't you tell me that Izuku was alive and that he also studied here? Izumi. Well, we wanted to surprise you. A little nervous. Mitsuki. Smiling, okay. Izuku. Well, I have to go. It was nice seeing you again, Aunt Mitsuki. Mitsuki. Wait, Izuku, don't you want to join us for something to eat? The green-haired boy was going to say no, but he didn't want to hurt his aunt's feelings, so he accepted. They went to eat katsudon, since it was Izuku's and Izumi's favorite. The freckled boy avoided answering some of Mitsuki's questions, like, where have you been all this time? Or what have you been doing? But one question caught Kitsumi and Izumi's attention. Did he have a girlfriend? Izuku answered yes, which pleased the girls, though they didn't show it. Their smiles disappeared when Izuku told them no, not yet. Mitsuki. And who is that girl? With a mischievous look. Izuku. Well, I don't know yet. They continued talking until the festival ended and Izuku said goodbye to Mitsuki, along with Izumi and Kitsumi. Then decided to go to his room where he found the purple-haired girl. Izuku. Kyoka, what are you doing here? Kyoka. Well, I wanted to see if you minded if we played again, while carrying her guitar on her back. Izuku. Okay. So the two went in and started playing, or when they got bored they would listen to the freckled boy's music. Kyoka. By the way, where's Eri? Izuku. Well, I asked Izawa if I could watch her today and he agreed. Kyoka. I understand. Well, I have to go, it's getting late. Izuku. Sure, we can play again another day if you want. Kyoka. Are you serious? Izuku. Yes. So the purple-haired girl left. When she got to her room, she received a message from the girls saying they were going to have their usual get-together. She put on her pajamas and went to Momo's room. When she arrived, the others were already there. She was surprised to see Kitsumi and Shota, since Momo always refused to go. She also saw Kendo, Ibara and Ajire. Thus began the get-together. They talked about everyday things and played Truth or Dare. Then Mina said something that interested the girls. Mina. So, girls, is there anyone who catches your eye? Some of them could only think of a certain green-haired boy. Mina. Seeing her companion's reactions, smiling, Melissa. Melissa. Yes. Mina. Who's the boy you like? Melissa. What are you talking about? Blushing. Mina already knew who the boy was that caught their eye, but just to be sure, she blurted out something that left them speechless. Mina. Well, the one I like is Izuku. And she saw how each of them had a different reaction. Girls? What? Even Katsumi and Shota couldn't help but scream. Mina. Starting to laugh, no, I just wanted to see if my suspicions were true. So you're all in love with Izuku, huh? With a mischievous face, making the others blush, but then they realized they weren't the only ones who liked the freckled boy. Mina. But my question is, which one of you will end up with him? Wanting to make the moment more exciting. Katsumi. That's obvious. The nerd and I will end up together. Making some of them jealous, thus starting an argument. Melissa. Calm down. Calling everyone's attention. How about we take turns being with him and in the end, he decides who he likes. They all agreed. They also set some rules, like not sabotaging each other or using their attributes to seduce him. They were all referring to Momo, who could only nod somewhat indignantly. Once this was done, they all looked at each other defiantly and said at the same time. Girls. May the best. One win. They left, while Izuku was in the park until he felt a chill run down his spine. Izuku? What was that? Sonic.exe. I don't know, but something tells me you're going to be in a lot of trouble. They continued waiting until Toga appeared behind him. Toga. Hello, Izu baby. Izuku. Can you just call me Izuku? Toga. What's bothering you? A little sad. Izuku. Sighing, fine, you can call me that. Toga. If you say so, Izu baby. Izuku. Do you have any information about the league? Toga. Yep, I did everything you told me to. Izuku. And why haven't you called me? Toga. I was going to, but then I thought, why tell you on the phone when I can tell you in person? Izuku. Fine, then tell me. Toga. Nope, in a childish tone. Izuku. Why not? Toga. First let's go on a date and then I'll tell you. Izuku. Okay. So Izuku took her to the movies and an amusement park. He also saw that Toga wasn't as crazy as he thought. She had a kind and curious eye. They both had fun. Then they arrived at the same park as before. Toga. That was fun. What do you think about doing it again? Izuku. Okay, now keep your word. Hap 22. Toga. The league is planning something big. Izuku. Something big. Toga. That's right. Nobody knows. The only ones who know are Tamura and Kurogiri, but they've started a rumor that it's another attack on UA. They also created more resistant non-us. Izuku. Non-us. In a questioning tone. Toga. These are the non-us. Showing them the picture she took of the non-us on her phone. Izuku. How interesting. Looking at the creatures, and do you know how they're created? Toga. No, but what I do know is that the non-us obey Tamura. They don't have their own thoughts. Izuku. I see. Getting up, keep trying to get more information. Toga. Sure. Oh, by the way. Izuku. What? But he was surprised because the Redeed had kissed him. He returned the kiss. Toga. Goodbye, Izu baby. Running off. Sonic.exe. Hey kid. Izuku. Yes. Sonic.exe. I think you already had your own quirk. Izuku. What? Confused. Sonic.exe. You can have any girl you want, you're quite the charmer. Izuku. Don't say anything. And so he left for UA. When he arrived at UA, he didn't find anyone, which didn't surprise him since it was very late, so he went to his room. When he got there and went to his bed, he found his sister asleep and next to her was Cerberus, so the freckled boy covered her up and went to sleep on the sofa. The next morning, he woke up to a pleasant smell and found a plate with toast, bacon, and eggs on his table. Izumi. Hi, I see you're awake. Giving him a smile. Izuku. Can I know why you were sleeping in my bed? Izumi. Well, and but she saw a little lipstick on the freckled boy's lips, and where were you? A little angry. Izuku. Don't change the subject. Izumi. I was waiting for you, and why did you get here so late? You don't know how worried I was. Izuku. You don't need to know what I do or what time I'll be back. Raising his voice slightly, startling her. Izumi. I'm sorry. Sonic.exe. Well done, genius. He spoke to her in her mind. Izuku. Sighing, Izumi, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. It's just that you're not ready yet. Izumi. Ready for what? Izuku. To know what I really am. Everything you think or think you know about me, forget it. That was my old self. The boy I know you want back is dead, and I want you to understand that. Izumi. I understand. Izuku. By the way, thanks for breakfast. It was delicious. Making his sister smile. Izumi. You're welcome. Taking her plate, well, see you later, big brother. As she left, she opened the door and found Shota and Kendo, who looked at each other for a few seconds. Then the green-haired girl left while the two girls entered. Kendo, hi Izuku. Shota. Hi Izuku. But then the girls noticed he wasn't wearing a shirt, so they blushed. Izuku. Oh, girls, you came for the training. Receiving a nod from them. Izuku. Wait here, I'm going to change. After a few seconds, the green-haired boy came downstairs already changed, so the girls followed him. He took them to the beach. They were surprised that everything was clean. They remembered that this place used to be a garbage dump. Izuku. Okay, now let's swim. Kendo Shota. Huh? Confused. Izuku. That's right, you have to swim from there to there. Pointing at them with his finger. Kendo. But. Sonic.exe. I still don't know how the girls notice you. Then he takes over the freckled boy's body. Izuku. Well, how about this? If you manage it in less than 5 minutes, I'll do whatever you want for the rest of the day. With a seductive voice that made them blush. So the girls did as asked. The green-haired boy was timing them. He was surprised that they had managed to swim and in just 5 minutes. Izuku. Wow, I didn't think you'd make it. Kendo. Well, we've had more stamina thanks to you. Shota. And well, it's time for you to deliver. Izuku. Okay, so what do you want me to do? So the two girls just looked at each other and nodded. They took the freckled boy to the mall and made him try on clothes. They also tried on some clothes and chose the ones the freckled boy liked best. They spent the day having fun. Shota had a smile. Izuku. Well, that was incredible, although are you sure you'll pay for everything? Looking at the bi-colored girl. Shota. Yes, don't worry, I paid for everything with the old man's credit card. Showing them the card, making a drop of sweat fall in an I'm style from the green-haired boy and the orange-haired girl. Izuku. Well, we'd better head back, don't you think? Receiving a yes from both of them, upon arriving at the academy, Izuku invited them into his room. He then made a teacup with several desserts appear. Kendo. Wow. Izuku, is there anything your quirk doesn't allow you to do? Izuku. Actually, I can do anything. A bottle of wine appeared and he started drinking. Shota. You drink? Surprised. Izuku. I drink this wine occasionally. Its flavor is unlike any other. Want to try it? Kendo. But isn't it forbidden to drink alcohol inside UA? Shota. You're right. We won't get in trouble. Izuku. Maybe, but having pets is also forbidden. Looking at Cerberus, so if no one finds out, there won't be any problems. Kendo. Well, that's true. So. Izuku poured them some, and the girls were amazed by the flavor when they tasted it. Shota. Wow, I didn't think a wine like this existed. Kendo. It's so sweet. Sonic.exe. You don't want to tell them the secret ingredient is souls. Do you? Izuku. Better not. Seeing them savoring the wine. So Izuku poured them a little more wine, and without realizing it, the three of them ended up drinking too much. Kendo. You know, Izuku. Izuku. Yes. Kendo. I like you. Sitting to the left of the green-haired boy. Shoto. I like you too. Sitting to his right. Sonic.exe. Well, I'm going to enjoy this. Smiling evilly. So Sonic.exe took the green-haired boy's body and began kissing the bi-colored girl until they ran out of air, separating with a trail of saliva. Then he kissed the orange-haired girl. Izuku carried the girls to his bed and little by little they took off their clothes. Only the moon and the sheets witnessed what happened that night. Pap 23. The next morning, the girls woke up and, seeing themselves naked and the freckled boy, blushed furiously. They didn't remember anything. Izuku was starting to wake up, startling the girls, so they pretended to be asleep. Izuku. Ow, my head. Putting his hand on his head, I'm never drinking too much again. Then he sees the girls and freezes. Sonic.exe. Wow, Izuku, taking advantage of two girls. How low have you fallen? While smiling. Izuku. Damn, I'm dead. Scared. Sonic.exe. Did I hear a help me? Mocking. Izuku. No. Sonic.exe. Well then, how will you deal with your sister? Showing his sister, who was waking up, knowing her, she'll probably come here. Making the freckled boy even more nervous. Izuku. Fine. So, giving control to Sonic.exe, he got up, put on some clothes, and left his room. Kendo. Did we really do it? Shoto. Just, he nodded. Meanwhile, Izuku had left his room and met his sister. Izumi. Good morning, big brother. Izuku. Hi Izumi. Izumi. Wow. What are you doing up so early? Izuku. I just wanted to make myself something. Come on, how about I make you breakfast? Izumi. Really? Receiving a nod. So the freckled boy went to prepare breakfast for her. He had also prepared some for Kendo and Shota. Izumi asked him why he had 2 plates. Izuku replied that they were for him since he was hungrier than usual today. His sister simply believed him. Izuku went to the room and saw the girls already up. Izuku, I see you're awake. Staring them a little. Izuku, sorry, I brought you breakfast. Endo Shota. Tea thanks. Staring to eat. After a few minutes, they finished eating and left, leaving the freckled boy alone. But then he heard someone knock on his door, so he opened it. Encountering Momo. Momo. Hi Izuku. Izuku. Hi Momo, how can I help you? Momo. Well, I wanted to ask if you could train me. Izuku. You want me to train you? Receiving a nod, okay, come in. So the black-haired girl enters. Izuku. Your quirk is creating things, right? Momo. That's right. Izuku. Good, you have to eat to be able to create things. You also have to know what things are made of to be able to make them. He said it in a murmur. Izuku. Okay, for how long can you create things? Momo. For a few minutes, why? Izuku. We'll start by strengthening your stamina. I want you to create things until you can't anymore. First, start with something small like a bowl or a cup. Momo. I understand. Starting to analyze what the freckled boy was planning. So she started creating small things like spoons, cups, and toys. Minutes passed, and little by little, Momo was reaching her limit until she couldn't go on anymore and fell to the floor. But before her head hit the ground, the freckled boy caught her, making her blush. He placed her on the sofa and also served her some tea and desserts. Momo. Thank you, taking the cup of tea. Izuku. 15 minutes isn't bad, but you have to keep training because bigger and heavier things tire you out more. Momo. I understand. I'll do my best with a determined look. Izuku. For now, go to your room and rest. If you want, you can train with Shota and Kendo. Momo. Of course, standing up, but she wasn't fully recovered yet and fell, but was caught by the green-haired boy. Thank you. Izuku. I'd better take you to your room, carrying her princess style. Momo. What are you doing? Blushing. Izuku. It seems you haven't recovered yet, and if you go out like that you can hurt. Momo. Okay. So the freckled boy took her to his room where he left her on his bed, and as he left, he bumped into the ash blonde. Tatsumi. What are you doing coming out of that weirdo's room? A little jealous. Izuku. That's none of your business. Tatsumi. Trying to hit him but was grabbed by the green-haired boy who put her against the wall. Izuku. Seriously, Kitsumi, I'm fed up with your little games. Tightening his grip, making her let out moans of pain. Tatsumi. Damn it, let go. But she didn't finish because the freckled boy kissed her. The green-haired boy's eyes had changed, implying that Sonic.exe was taking control. When they separated, he saw that the girl's breathing was a little labored. Izuku. Don't tell me you're already excited. With a seductive voice. Tatsumi. I don't know what you're talking about. Pushing him. Izuku. You know your bad girl attitude, I like it, but I think we need to put you in your place, while whispering in her ear. In a swift movement, he cornered the ash blonde girl against the wall again. Izuku. You know, Kitsumi, let's see how tough you are. Dissing her again, the ash blonde girl resisted, but little by little, she succumbed to the green-haired boy's desires. He could only smile inwardly. Kitsumi then led the freckled boy to her room where they continued. Izuku. Wow, Kitsumi, well a foxy smile spread across his face. Kitsumi. TSK, now you'll see how it's done, you damn nerd. So, as she kissed him, the intensity of the kiss gradually increased. Izuku could only watch what Sonic.exe was doing to her body. He could only smile, for if he managed to subdue the ash blonde girl, he could use her at will, just like his sister. He could also take advantage of Kendo and Shota. Little by little, his victory was approaching, although he still needed more help, but he would figure out how to deal with the other girls. Meanwhile, with Sonic.exe, he was giving pleasure to the ash blonde girl. He liked seeing the look of pleasure on her face. After a few hours, Sonic.exe had finished with her. Kitsumi had ended up unconscious, but that didn't stop him from continuing to penetrate her. So, Izuku took hold of the body again, covered Kitsumi, and jumped out the window, landing in front of Ibara. Ibara. Izuku, aren't you hurt? Izuku. No, I'm fine. Ibara. Thank goodness. And tell me, why did you decide to jump out the window? Izuku. Well, I was in a bit of a hurry. And tell me, Ibara, where were you going? Ibara. I'm a volunteer at the orphanage and I was heading there. Do you want to come with me? Izuku. Sure. And so the two green-haired people left. Pap 24. Ibara led him to the orphanage. Upon arriving, the children ran to hug her and she returned their greeting. Then the children saw Izuku and they all stood behind her. Ibara said, you don't have to be afraid. He's a friend, in a sweet voice. The children approached the green-haired boy and one asked. Why do you have ears? Izuku replied, it's part of my quirk, crouching down to the child's level. Do you want to touch them? He asked, receiving a nod. The child touched the freckled boy's ears. Why they're soft, he said, amazed at how soft they were. The other children approached and also stroked his ears. The green-haired boy entertained the children, showing them the things he could do. Ibara watched as the children enjoyed themselves with Izuku, which made her smile. After a few hours, it was time for them to leave. The children were sad, but they cheered up when they heard that Izuku would come to visit them, and so they departed. Ibara. I think they liked you. Izuku. I think so too. With a smile, by the way, I see you like roses, right? Ibara. That's right, roses are my favorite. It's a shame they don't grow this time of year. A little sad. Izuku. Don't be so sure. Ibara. Huh. At that moment, Izuku went to the ground and cut his finger a little, causing his blood to fall to the earth, and from the earth came a rose, but this one was more beautiful. It looked like crystal. Izuku. Here you go. Taking the rose and giving it to her. Ibara. Thank you. Taking the rose. Izuku. That rose won't wilt. So the two continued on their way. When they arrived at UA, they took different paths. Ibara gave him a kiss on the cheek, saying goodbye. Izuku went to his room. On the way, he met a brunette girl. She was training her quirk, so he decided to help her. Izuku. I see you're having problems. Uraraka. Oh, hi. Izuku-kun. Do you want my help to improve your quirk? Uraraka. Really? Happy. Izuku. That's right, besides, I have nothing to do. So Izuku made her train by having her run 5 laps and then do 30 push-ups and 30 sit-ups. The brunette did it, taking an hour. When she finished the exercises, she collapsed, exhausted. Izuku. If you keep training, you'll be able to control your quirk better. Helping her up. Uraraka. I understand. Thank you, Izuku-kun. Now standing. Izuku, well, see you later Uraraka. As he left, when he got to his room, he found Eri playing with Cerberus. Izuku. Eri, what time did you get here? Eri. Oh, Mr. Izawa brought me here. I had a meeting, but since he couldn't find you, he told me to wait for you. Izuku. Okay, well, go change and then go to sleep. Eri. Izuku. A little shy. Izuku. Yes, putting food to Cerberus. Eri. Why does it come out when everyone is asleep? Asked innocently. Izuku. Ah, sighing, he hugged the little girl and placed her on his bed. Do you want me to tell you a secret? Receiving a nod. Izuku. Okay, but don't tell anyone. Sitting on the bed, Eri, what do you think about heroes? Eri. What do I think about heroes? Not understanding what he meant. Izuku. Eri, the world you live in is corrupt. Eri. Corrupt. Still not understanding. Izuku. That's right. In this world, there are some who are heroes simply for money or fame. They no longer care about saving people who won't get them recognition. Eri. But I was saved. Izuku. That's right, but it's because my sister is a true hero. If you had run into another hero, she probably wouldn't have done anything. Eri. That means she would continue, with fear. Izuku. That's right, but I'm going to change it. Eri. You're going to change it. Izuku. That's right, but to achieve that, I'll have to destroy the world to create a better one with heroes who save people without wanting anything in return. Eri. Mr. Izuku, approaching the green-haired boy and placing her head on his knees. Izuku. Yes, while gently stroking her hair. Eri. You think that's possible? Izuku. That's right, I will be the new god of the new world. I won't let evil exist in the new world. Children will never be afraid again, no one will ever suffer again, while his eyes shone with that red color that represented him so much. At that moment, he lowered his head to find that the white-haired girl had fallen asleep, so the green-haired boy carefully lifted her and settled her in bed, covering her up. As he was about to leave, he heard something. Eri. Good night, Izuku, hugging Cerberus and going back to sleep. Izuku, good night Eri. As he left, he saw that no one was around, but he didn't notice Melissa in the kitchen preparing something. She saw the green-haired boy leave and decided to follow him. Curiosity got the better of her, so she grabbed a coat and went outside. She followed the freckled boy across the rooftops, who apparently hadn't noticed her. Then she saw Izuku enter a bar, so she stayed outside watching him through the window. The green-haired boy approached the bartender. Bartender. What do you want? Izuku. Can I borrow your phone? Bartender. The phone doesn't work. Izuku. Then why do you have it? Bartender. Who would have thought you'd be out? He poured him a drink. Izuku. I was out a little while ago. Bartender. Well, Izuku, what can I get you? Izuku. I want to see the old man. Bartender. Haven't you heard? Surprised. Izuku. Huh? What are you talking about? Confused. Bartender. He passed away a few weeks ago. Izuku. I understand. His hair covered his eyes. Bartender. Writing something on a piece of paper and taking out a letter, he wanted you to have this. I also wrote down where you can go to see him. Izuku. Taking a sip of his drink, thank you. As he left, Melissa used her quirk to go to the rooftop, but she saw Izuku disappear in the blink of an eye. The green-haired boy appeared in front of a grave holding a bouquet of flowers. Izuku. I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner. Laying the flowers down, I hope that wherever you are, you're resting. I'll fulfill your wish. Thank you for being the only person who supported me, and I swear I'll achieve my goal. I'll make the world you dreamed of come true. Chapter 25. Thus, withdrawing from the tomb, he jumped forward in time 5 weeks. In those weeks, many things had happened. The freckled boy was training the girls. They followed him without question, even Katsumi, who obeyed him reluctantly. Toga had also told him that the League was planning their attack, so Izuku killed the entire League. He didn't want them to get in his way. He also saw the non-us in capsules, which made him grin from ear to ear. He placed some black liquid in the capsules, making them more resistant, giving them their own intelligence, and making them loyal to him. Izuku. The day of the new world is getting closer and closer, while accelerating the production of the non-us. Sonic.exe. It's time for the girls to do their part, telling the green-haired boy. Izuku. That's right. After all, they'll follow me no matter what. Sonic.exe. Good. How about I tell them? Izuku. Okay. After all, it's thanks to you that they follow me blindly. Sonic.exe. You're right, although at first it's unlikely they'd agree to share you. Flashback. The freckled boy is seen walking with the heroine, Mount Lady. He was accompanying her on one of her night patrols. They were talking, always buying coffee and chatting in the park where they met. But he hadn't counted on the girls passing by, having wasted time buying some things. When they saw Yu kiss Izuku, they got angry and went after him. Toga had gone out to kill anyone she could find and saw the green-haired boy kissing another girl, which made her grip her knife tightly. She only had one thing on her mind. Killing the girl who was kissing her Izuku. Sonic.exe. This is going to get ugly. At that moment, all the girls started fighting and demanding an explanation from the freckled boy. The green-haired boy knew that if he didn't do something quickly, things could get worse, so he asked Sonic.exe for help. Izuku. Help me. Sonic.exe. Oh, what are my ears hearing? Are you asking me for help? Smiling. Izuku. If you're not, the whole plan will have gone down the drain, begging. Sonic.exe. Fine. Taking over the freckled boy's body, after a few hours he had calmed the girls down. Of course, the girls took their revenge, leaving him with several broken bones, 4th-degree burns, eye spikes, piercing his vital organs like vines, suffocating him, and some explosion marks. Even though he was recovering quickly. Izuku. Spitting blood, I deserved it. Then he sees the girls' angry faces. So Sonic.exe tried to convince the girls. In the end, he managed to convince them, but at a high price. He had to spend a whole day with each of the girls without refusing anything. Then flashback. Izuku. A shiver runs down his spine, don't remind me. Sonic.exe. Well, it's time for you to go tell the girls your plan. Izuku. That's right, and if they don't agree, I'll have to get rid of them. I won't let anything or anyone stop me when I'm so close to my goal. He said seriously. So he went to UA, where he entered his room and everyone was already there, including Mount Lady and Toga. Izumi. Big brother, why did you call us all? Izuku. It's time you knew my objective. He said seriously. Melissa. Your objective? Izuku. That's right, and I want to know if I can count on you for this. Receiving a yes from everyone. Izuku. Okay, my objective is to create a world from scratch. Momo. Create a world from scratch. Confused. Izuku. That's right. This world is corrupt. There are no true heroes anymore. The police are corrupt. They only work for their own benefit, even the symbol of peace. Melissa. Uncle Might, surprised. Izuku. That's right. He's supposed to die protecting the innocent, but instead, he hides behind the excuse of being injured and not being able to be a hero for much longer. That's unfair. He should breathe his last, dying to protect innocent people. Izuku. Tell me, don't you want to change the world? Have a world where there's no corruption, no fake heroes, a world full of peace. Making the girls reflect. Shota. And what are you going to do? What you're saying is impossible to achieve overnight. Izuku. Actually, it isn't. The book appears. Uraraka. And this book. Izuku. This book is the answer to creating the world I've always wanted and I want you to be with me in this new world. Toga. Huh? How can a book achieve something like that? Somewhat bored. Izuku. This book contains an ancient chant, but if I say it wrong or am interrupted, it could cost me my life. Pendo. But aren't you immortal? Confused. Izuku. That's right, I'm immortal, but since this is an ancient chant, it's dangerous, and the price of making a mistake is life. Surprising everyone. Izuku. My plan is to kill half of the human race. Shocking everyone, including Toga. Najire. That's a lot. Ibara. To kill the creation of our lord. Izuku. I know it's a lot of deaths, but it's the price for a better world. Hitsumi. That's idiotic. Annoyed. Izuku. Frowning, then those who are not willing to follow me can leave. I will respect your decision, but putting on a dead voice, if you get in my way, I will kill you. Scaring everyone. I'll give you time to think about it. Leaving the room, the girls were talking about what the freckled boy had said. It was crazy, even for Toga. Then Izumi said she was going to keep surprising everyone. Little by little, each of them accepted. Only Kitsumi remained. She was having an internal struggle about whether to accept or not. She knew very well that if she refused and tried to stop the freckled boy, it would be in vain. She had never been able to see the green-haired boy's potential, so she ended up accepting too. Then Izuku came back in. Izuku. Well, what do you say? All. We accept. We'll follow you no matter what. Thus throwing themselves towards the freckled boy. Hap 26. The next morning, the green-haired boy woke up naked. He looked around and saw all the girls with silly grins, covered only by sheets. He washed up and put on some clothes, leaving his room. A few hours later, the girls started waking up and also got dressed. The green-haired boy returned with several plates of food, which he gave to the girls. Izumi. So, what day will the new world begin? Drawing the attention of the other girls. Izuku. In 2 days. Surprising everyone, it was so sudden. Momo. Why in 2 days? Isn't that too soon? Izuku. No, in 2 days something will happen that will make my powers grow immensely. Melissa. And what is it? Izuku. The planets will align. I'll have a few minutes that will be essential to fulfilling my objective. Uraraka. And how would you avoid attracting the hero's attention? Izuku. I already have everything planned, but I'll need your help. You'll have to hold off the heroes while Kyoka finish the chant. But we can't handle so many of them, they'd defeat us quickly. Izuku. I know that well, but don't worry about it, I have an ace up my sleeve. Mount Lady. And what will we do now? Izuku. 2 days will be enough for you to have greater control over your quirks. Pendo. In 2 days that would be almost impossible. Izuku. In this reality, yes. Shota. What do you mean by in this reality? Izuku. What I mean is that you'll train in my world. There, time runs differently, enough for you to become stronger. Tatsumi. And when will we start training? Excited because she could become stronger. Izuku. First, go put on your training clothes, then come back here in a few hours. I'll prepare everything. All? Yes. And so, leaving, they all went to do what the green-haired boy asked, while he stayed in his room. Sonic.exe. So you're taking them there? Izuku. It's the only way. We don't have time to lose. Sonic.exe. I know that. Izuku. Is something wrong? Sonic.exe. Izuku, I'll have to disappear. Izuku. What? Surprised. Sonic.exe. I'll give you my life force so you can accomplish your goal. You'll need all the strength you can muster. Izuku. What about that thing about you never leaving, that you'd always be with me, that we'd see each other at the dawn of a new world? A little hysterical. Sonic.exe. I know what I said. Smiling, but for the first time in my life, I've had fun. Approaching the freckled boy. Izuku. And no, you can't leave. You're all I have. You've always been by my side. I don't want you to go. With a few tears. Sonic.exe. Izuku, I will always live on in your memories, touching his head, and in your heart, touching his chest. I will always be with you, starting to disappear. Sonic.exe. Izuku. Izuku. Raising his head, looking him in the eyes. Sonic.exe. Smiling, not in his usual sadistic way, but with a sincere smile, you have been my best reincarnation. I am proud of you. His legs began to disappear. Sonic.exe. Create the world you always dreamed of. His torso was gone. Sonic.exe. Closing his eyes, live, be happy. Those were his last words before disappearing completely. The green-haired boy punched the ground, creating a large crater. He saw that Sonic.exe's gloves hadn't disappeared, so he picked them up and put them on. Izuku. I promise to fulfill your last wish. Then he saw Cerberus approach him and put his head on his knee. The freckled boy began to stroke his head. He knew there would be losses to fulfill his wish. With his ambition, he never imagined that his best friend, who had always been with him, who trained him, who gave him a purpose, would no longer be with him. This saddened him. He just wanted it to be a bad dream, but it wasn't. He snapped out of his thoughts when he heard a knock at his door. Opening it, he found the girls. Izuku. Alright, come in. They all entered. Then they saw Izuku begin to draw a circle, and in the center, he started tracing symbols. He also closed the curtains, leaving the room dark. Ibara. What are you doing? Confused, as were the others. Izuku. This will help me take you to the other dimension. Placing some candles. Izuku. Now I ask you to be silent. This requires concentration. Sitting in a lotus position in the center of the circle. Each of the girls remained silent. They watched as the freckled boy began to say words that no one understood. Then the candles began to move frantically until the candles went out, then they lit up, but they were a different color. They were green. Then he rose to the ceiling and began to spin rapidly. All the girls were surprised. Then they saw a black hole create and each one of them began to be swallowed. After a few minutes, the girls fell into another dimension. Izuku. We've arrived. They were all surprised to see a beautiful place with many kinds of flowers. There was also a small river and the water was clear. Izumi. Wow, this is beautiful. Momo. I've never seen anything like it. Izuku. Okay, I'll give each of you a different training. So Izuku gave each of them what they had to do. They saw him pat Toga on the head because she was doing the training well, which made the others jealous, and they too began to train hard so that the green-haired boy would praise them. Days passed, and the girls had improved remarkably. Itsumi's explosions were more powerful, Izumi's fire was now a different color, Uraraka could stay airborne for longer, Shota had perfect control over his quirk, Momo no longer got tired as easily as before, Kyoka could now read people's frequencies and use them to stun them, Kendo was now an expert in every fighting style, Najire could create shockwaves that could paralyze people, Ibara could withstand fire with her quirk, and Toga and Mount Lady had also learned some fighting styles. Izuku watched them with a satisfied smile. App 27. The day had arrived. Everyone was ready to give their all, while Izuku was lost in thought. Izuku. The day has finally arrived. I will fulfill our objective. I will do it for you, Sonic.exe, my best friend. I will make you proud of the god I am. He said this to himself as he looked at the sky. A breeze made him smile. He knew that Sonic.exe, wherever he was, would always be with him. Izuku, snapping out of his thoughts, went to where the girls were. Izuku. The time has come. Calling their attention. Izuku. Seeing that some of them were nervous, Izuku. Seeing that some of them were nervous, I know you're nervous. Nobody knows what will happen, but I'll tell you this. Stay together no matter what. Don't separate and try to separate the heroes. Remember what I told you. There are some quirks that aren't very effective, but if they work in teams, they will be a force to be reckoned with. Give it your all. All? Yes. Then Izuku approached Toga. Izuku. Toga, I have a special job for you. Toga. And what is it? Izu baby, excited. Izuku. I want you to go to this address, handing her a piece of paper. Toga. And why do I have to go to this address? Izuku. I know a lot of heroes are going there and there'll be a problem, so you'll be in charge of going for reinforcements. We're all counting on you so I can fulfill my dream. Do you think you can do it? Toga. Don't worry, I'll take care of it, giving him a quick kiss. So Izuku opened the portal again, but instead of returning to the room, they appeared in another place, a very remote location outside the city. It was night, the moon was brighter than ever. The girls were surprised. It was beautiful. Izuku. Okay, it's time. So, flying, he took out the book and a great light shot out into the sky. It was so bright that the girls had to close their eyes. Meanwhile, in the city, people watched the light shoot out and saw how the moon slowly turned blood red, surprising them. Meanwhile, at UA, both students and teachers watched the moon. You can see it in the principal's office symbol of peace alongside other heroes. Nezu. Call all heroes and students, seeing how his hair stood on end, giving him a bad feeling. Nezu. There's no time to lose, turning on the loudspeaker, attention all teachers and students, head towards the glow as quickly as possible, there's no time to lose. So all the students and teachers headed as fast as possible, while in the freckled boy's room, Eri was with Cerberus. Eri. I think Mr. Izuku put his plan into action, petting Cerberus as he barked. At that moment, a hero enters the room, making the puppy hide. Hero. Little girl, I want you to stay here. Eri. Hey, why can't I go? Pointing to the place. Hero. It's the principal's orders. Meanwhile, the girls watched a green-haired boy as he recited the words from the book. Momo. Here they come. While watching the heroes and students approaching through binoculars. Izumi. Remember, we can't let them near my big brother. Getting into a fighting stance, as did everyone else. Meanwhile, Toga was running to the place Izuku had told her about, but she ran into some heroes. Hero 1. Look, she's a member of the League of Villains. In a fighting stance. Hero 2. Stop right there. You're stopped. Arrogantly. Toga. Smiling maniacally, this will be fun. Pulling out her knife. Back with the girls, they were now face to face with the heroes and students. Nezu. Ladies, what does this mean? Almight. Melissa, what's going on? Looking at his niece. Endeavor. Shota, what are you doing? Almight, angry. Melissa. Uncle Might, I'm sorry, but I want a better world, a world where there are no more fake heroes. I want the world Izuku always dreamed of. Almight. But what are you talking about? Confused. Melissa. I'm talking about us starting a world from scratch. Shocking several with the blonde's answer. Nezu. You're not going to say what Izuku is thinking. In shock. Izumi. That's right, my big brother will destroy the world to build a better one from the ashes. Nezu. It can't be. Almight. That means. In shock. Nezu. That he'll kill thousands of people. He lowers his head, now I understand. This was his plan from the beginning. Remembering how the freckled boy agreed to join UA and only ask for basic things, at first he thought he could manipulate him to turn him into the best hero that could have ever existed, but he never imagined that Izuku had been planning all of this the whole time. Nezu. Well then, Miss Melissa, Izumi, Uraraka, Momo, Kyoka, Kitsumi, Kendo, Ibara, Najire, and the heroine Mount Lady, naming each of the girls. Nezu. You are under arrest. Surprising the symbol of peace. Almight. Principal Nezu, aren't you serious? Nezu. I am serious, Almight. Now arrest him. But he didn't finish because an earthquake shook the ground. Everyone saw the green-haired boy as he slowly began to transform into his true form. They all saw how his hair grew longer than normal and his hands transformed into claws, tearing through his gloves. His teeth sharpened like razors. Everyone was shocked to see the green-haired boy. Nezu. There's no time to lose. Stop young Izuku as soon as possible. Shouting at the heroes and students. Izumi. No. We won't let you. Once he started the ritual, there's no way to stop him. Taking out whips of fire. So each of the girls activated their quirks. Almight. Melissa, please, there's still time. Melissa. No, Uncle Might, Izuku is right about this world. This world is broken. Heroes only exist for fame or money, but Izuku will change that. Activating one for all. Almight. Good. Getting into a fighting stance. Endeavor. Shota, I'm warning you, you'd better finish all this. Angry. Shota. No. I'll change the world so that people like you no longer exist. A great whirlwind of fire appeared. They all stared at each other until they launched themselves. Meanwhile, Toga had also launched herself at the heroes. Chaos had begun. Hap 28. Both sides launched themselves into the fray, thus beginning the war. Melissa and All Might clashed fists, creating a small shockwave. Shota threw a fireball and a spike at his father, who dodged them, throwing a fireball in return. Izumi and Kitsumi sent students flying. The green-haired girl caught them with her whips and sent them flying to where the other students were, while the ash-blonde girl unleashed powerful explosions. Endo and Ibara fought against their own class, and Najire fought with her friends. Mirio. Najire, stop. We don't want to hurt you. Dodging a shockwave from the light blue-haired girl. Najire. Come on, guys, come over here. Launching more shockwaves at them. Tatsumaki. I'm sorry, Najire, but I don't think we can. In a sad tone, then he launched one of his tentacles at her. The light blue-haired girl saw that she wouldn't be able to dodge it, but before she could be caught, a loud gunshot rang out. At that moment, the black-haired boy let out a scream. Tatsumaki. Ah, attracting her tentacle and seeing that it had a large hole. At that moment the light blue-haired girl looked to the place of the shot to see Momo with a cannon, so Najire thanked her with a hand sign, and Momo responded with another hand sign. Meanwhile with Toga she had killed the heroes, but had some wounds, so taking the direction where Izuku had indicated he trusted her, and she was not going to let him down at that moment, she saw that more heroes were arriving so escaped. Returning to the fight the girls seemed to be gaining ground, since Kyoka was stunning the students and heroes who had the same frequency, so Uraraka made some rocks float and threw them at them, but little by little, the students were joining together causing problems since they combined their quirk, the heroes also did the same, thus taking the ground in their favor, forcing the girls to retreat. Izumi. Damn it, throwing fireballs. Momo. Girls, I'm at my limit, while creating another cannonball. Shota. They have us surrounded, seeing how they were surrounded. Tatsumi. TSK, damn nerds, removing the pins from her grenades. Izumi. Take cover. So they all threw themselves to the ground and covered their ears. The explosion sent several heroes flying, but it was no use since they were still surrounded. Kitsumi fell to the ground, exhausted. Izumi. No, no. Seeing that they were surrounded, we can't let them interrupt Izuku. She was under pressure and didn't know what to do. She saw some of her classmates who were already tired and then she could think of something. Izumi. Shota, create a large ice dome to cover us, Izuku. Shota. Good. So he created a large ice dome that made both heroes and students retreat. Melissa. That won't stop them for long. Then they felt another tremor, but much stronger. Izuku still isn't finished. Dabara. Oh god, please give us a little more of strength, praying. Uraraka. I hope Toga makes it. Meanwhile, Toga was sent flying, crashing into a wall and spitting up a little blood. Toga. Damn it. Getting up. Hero 1. I told you to stop, villain. Hero 2. You're under arrest. But he had to dodge a knife that cut his cheek. Hero 2. TSK, damn it. Grabbing her by the neck. Toga. I am sorry, Izuku. Trying to break free, but then a whistle fell out and rolled to the hero's feet. Hero 1. Huh. And this. Picking up the whistle and whistling, but nothing happened. He whistled again, but still nothing. Ah, this thing is useless. But he saw that Toga had a smile. Hero 1. What are you laughing at? Toga. It worked. Flashback. The freckled boy can be seen talking to the Redeed. Izuku. I trust you, Toga. Like this, handing him the whistle. Toga. Whistling, this thing doesn't even work. Izuku. That's because it's a dog whistle. If you're in trouble, you just have to whistle it and Cerberus will come to you. Then flashback. Meanwhile, in the freckled boy's room, the hero is seen taking some of the freckled boy's things. He finds the puppy. Hero. And this. Picking it up. Eerie. Give it back. Trying to grab Cerberus, but the hero just raises his arm further. Hero. Hiding animals in the building is prohibited. Cerberus bites him, damn it. Throwing him, making him crash into the wall. Eerie. Cerberus. Running to the dog. Hero. TSK, you damn animal. That's why I don't have pets. Now you'll see. Eerie. Don't hurt him. With tears threatening to spill, but she was pushed away by the hero. Hero. Get out of my way, brat. I'm the hero. Besides, I should be fighting, not babysitting. A stupid brat, but he only saw Eerie backing away. Hero. Hey, what are you running from? Then he felt a warm breath on his neck, turning around to find Cerberus transformed. Hero. What the hell? He didn't finish because Cerberus ate him. Then Cerberus approached Eerie, lifting her up and crouching down, so Eerie could climb on top of him. The white-haired girl climbed on, Cerberus moved a little away from the balcony window, took a running start and ran towards it, breaking it in the wall. Cerberus ran towards where he heard the whistle, jumping from roof to roof until he reached Toga. He saw that they were going to kill her, so he let out a howl that only stunned the heroes. Hero 1. Covering his ears. Hero 2. My ears, falling to the ground. At that moment Toga took advantage and cut their throats, but she was so weak that she fell to the ground, being grabbed by the claw of Cerberus, then gets down and helps the Redeed. Eerie. Are you okay? Toga. Yes, but we have to help the girls. Looking at the ice dome, so, climbing onto Cerberus's back, Toga told him where to go, and Cerberus set off. Meanwhile, with the girls, Shota was reaching his limit as the heroes tried to break the ice, but she repaired the dome. Shota. And he won't be able to hold on any longer. His voice was a little shaky. Back with Toga, she had arrived at the location. Toga. Hold on a little longer. Looking at the paper and entering the password. App 29. Upon entering the code, the door opened, revealing thousands of nanas in various containers. Their appearance was a bit more macabre. Without wasting any time, the Redeed pressed a button, activating a siren. All the containers began to open, releasing all the nanas who lined up, awaiting Toga's orders. There's no time to lose, follow me. She remounted Cerberus. Cerberus began to run, followed by all the nanas. Meanwhile, Shota reached her limit and fell to her knees. Shota. I am sorry, somewhat breathless. Izumi. You did well. At that moment, the dome was destroyed by a smash from the symbol of peace. Was this the end? Would it all end like this? Would they be taken to prison, and would Izuku die? When all seemed lost, they heard a voice. Everyone turned to see Toga. Toga. Attack. She shouted to the nanas. Behind her, all the nanas emerged, each hero and student. They were all in shock, especially Almight. Izumi. He did it. Happy. Melissa. and just in time. Thus, a new battle erupted, this time more brutal, as the non-us attacked with the intent to kill. Several students were brutally murdered, while the pro-heroes tried to stop the non-us, who also attacked with the intent to kill. Endeavor used his full power to incinerate them. Almight used his best smashes, although the time to return to normal was getting shorter. It was a complete massacre, but then everyone felt a major tremor that even opened a crack in the ground, which both heroes and non-us couldn't avoid falling into. At that moment, everyone turned to look at Izuku, and the light had exploded, creating a great wave of red color that covered the entire world, but it didn't last long, as it disappeared once it had covered the world. Then Izuku descended to earth, but his hair was black and red, even his eyes were a more intense red, giving him a more terrifying appearance. The moment he touched the ground, all the non-us stopped massacred the heroes and students, and knelt before their creator. Some heroes took advantage of this and went to attack the freckled boy, but before they could touch him, they exploded. Izuku. The new world has begun. Almight. Young Izuku, don't do it. Releasing a lot of smoke, implying that his time is running out. Izuku. I'm sorry, symbol of peace, but sacrifices must be made. Almight. I won't allow it. Lunging towards him. Izuku. Goodbye. Snapping his fingers. Then a huge explosion occurred, sending the hero flying. The end of the world had begun. Volcanoes erupted, tsunamis struck all the coasts, earthquakes destroyed everything in their path, strange changes occurred in nature, crops withered, some rivers dried up, the weather changed drastically, and deadly diseases appeared. People ran, trying to save themselves, but it was useless. No one could be saved. Back with the freckled boy, he watched as each hero and student fell to the ground dead, as the non-us took advantage of the carelessness and killed them all, leaving only Izuku with his girls. They all looked at Izuku, and he had a peaceful smile. They were surprised to see tears welling in his eyes. Izuku. I did it. The world I always wanted will exist. Then the girls approached him and knocked him down. Momo. And now what? Izuku. Well, let me get up. With that, all the girls got off him. The green-haired boy saw their wounds and torn clothes, so he snapped his fingers, and each of the girls was enveloped in the light. As it dispersed, they appeared without their injuries and wearing new clothes. Izuku. It's best to welcome the new world. Thus rising up, he said a few words and another bright light covered the world, but this light was different. It gave tranquility and peace. Thus, all the catastrophe stopped, and the people chosen for the new world were saved and healed. Rain fell all over the world, extinguishing the fires and filling the rivers and lakes. Flowers began to bloom. Everything returned to normal. Izuku landed on the ground. Izuku. Girls. Calling their attention, someone catch me. Thus fainting, but Kendo caught him. They all saw that the freckled boy was tired, so they took him to UA to rest. They were tired too. Today was a long day. Time skip. 2 years. In these 2 years, the world returned to normal, but there were no more robberies. The heroes had recovered their vision of heroism. They helped anyone without expecting anything in return. The world was perfect. Izuku married each of the girls, and they went to live in a large mansion. Everyone knew what the green-haired boy had done, treating him like a god. They even built him his own temple and statue. The freckled boy can be seen sitting on a large throne, his gaze lost on the horizon, but he was pulled from his thoughts upon seeing all the girls. Izuku. Can I offer you something? Alyssa. Well, we have the day off today, so we wanted to spend it with you. Izuku. Getting up from his throne, okay, then there's no time to lose. Knowing what she meant. So he and the girls went to his room. Izuku. This world is just like we dreamed it would be. I wish you were here, buddy. He thought to himself. But as he passed a mirror, he saw Sonic.exe giving him a smile and a nod. Izuku smiled, knowing his friend would always be with him, even when he couldn't see him. The end. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.